shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones? Does the ground take you? Do you feel your bones take you? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones take you? Take you? Do you feel your bones? Does the ground take you? Do you feel your bones take you? Take you? Do you feel
do, 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 do. I don't know what this song is. It was just relatively easy to do along with. Good evening, Club Cult. Good evening. I'm forgetting something and I don't know what. I don't have my coffee out here. Is that it? Maybe. That's the most recent. I want that one. Ah, you're loud. Pull up kitty cam. Here's my voice tonight. We're gonna decorate for Voya's birthday. Have a little birthday party for Voya. He's patiently waiting. Then we're gonna set some stuff up for little mama kitty. Giving herself a bath right now. We're gonna switch her spots up a little bit. Get her into the tent. I forgot the tent was broken. I had to buy a new one. But like, duh. Why else would I have gotten Chauncey a new one a while back? I wish I would have remembered that before I set it all up though. It's okay. At least I didn't put her in there without realizing that like, oh, no. It doesn't work. The zipper is just fucked. I don't know how to fix it. I think it's beyond fixing. There she is. Little bath baby. Aw. Little bathers. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, Cygenix. How is your weekend going? It's a holiday this weekend, isn't it? It's Labor Day. I think. Knock on wood, I think this will be the first holiday weekend that I've streamed like all year. I have had incidents every holiday weekend.
A lot of time played together between everybody else on FaZe.
Triggers my cam girl psychosis. Because it's like, oh,
Kicks it off with first
people are off on Monday.
Email returns on Frozen, tries to climb into the window, and Rain's gonna put him to rest. Right then and there, we get this challenge.
I think this one's toast. It's missing teeth and it's neither of them will. There's two zippers. Neither of them will. Usually when it's fixable, one of them will zip it, but then the other one will take it apart. And this one, both of them are taking it apart. I'm bummed. I forgot about that. I should have remembered that though. Why don't I know everything? Why am I not an omnipotent being? Why am I not a god? I am but merely a cat doula. She's grooming herself, which according to last night is, like, she's grooming herself a lot. According to last night is approaching showtime. I'm nerve-wracked. She spilled her water. I'm upset. I'm gonna finish getting ready and then we'll set up Voya's stuff. And do his little party. And then swap all of her stuff. I don't think the camera's gonna see too well inside of the pop-up tent, which kind of sucks. But the pop-up tent is gonna be better. Because I have another one too that doesn't have a top, which is why I'm not putting her in that one right now. And I figure she can, like, I'll stitch the two together. Hold on, Counter-Strike. I'll stitch the two together at the doors. And then she'll have, like, a double wide. And then I'm going to use binder clips to just put a blanket at the top of it. That way she can, like, be in with the babies when necessary. But when she's ready to move about the room, then she can do that. But there's pillows shoved on. I have so many fucking pillows. There's pillows shoved all under everything. And there's still pillows to sleep on. A lot of pillows. I had to borrow one from Tank though. Yeah. A pop-up tent. Exactly. Why don't they market them like that? Someone should have figured out a branding like that. I'm proud of her. She hasn't laid in her litter box most of today. She's been on her bed. I think she's getting a little warm on the bed, and I think that's also why she's going in the litter box to lay down. So I really want to get her into the tent.
It's all that really remains for the Navi Hope on round 5. Wonderful doesn't pull the trigger. That volley just gets instantly extinguished. Oh, but
Maybe there's a way I can, because the top's unzipped, maybe there's a way that I can dip it down. I don't know. The bonus of her being in Monster's room is I can pretty much hear and see everything just through the door. Monster's being so persnickety to everyone. He's mostly just hanging out with the dogs. Monster was meant to be a dog. Monster knew I wanted dogs. And he said, okay, here, hold my kitty beer. I will be a dog.
Getting to the top of the board, Roki's big multi-kill is why he's still ahead by an edge.
He really was only bonded with my white cat bunny.
Pretty important role on Mirage, blowing around window, helping out mid.
His little matriarch.
Important part of the round actually is rotation here. Right now, it's a little wasted space over on the A side.
Happy Catter Day, everybody.
Alongside Rain.
Voyeur, you hyped for birthday?
The window on this time, he's a little late to it.
They're quite worried that somebody's in ladder room.
Unfortunately, none of these packages are for you, but I do have presents for you. But they're just spare toys that I bought and stocked up on that you love. Oh, that's all my stuff. I'm like, what is over there? A sweater and shoes. I got some sparkly shoes for Voya's birthday. Got a little dress going on. Gotta be schmancy for the boys. I have a little crown we might put on Voya. I have the birthday hat and I have the birthday bow tie. If he's chill enough, he'll balance the birthday hat on his head. What's she doing? She's pattering at the side.
Frozen hears this approach, slides into it, Palace player denied. Beautiful shooting here from Frozen. The assist is inbound. Rain shows up to the scene. Just in time.
Oh, she's licking herself. That's just her tail.
Ema may have some kind of a route on catwalk.
I mean, to nothing, though. They have no bomb, so it doesn't really matter for them. Rain is watching the window. Emma hits a great shot.
My heightened state of like hypervigilance, I don't think has ever been stronger.
After that, you just keep peeking until you die, and Big at 2 is to win the round.
It's a dreamy hole.
I just keep reminding myself that like cats have done this themselves for centuries. Cats have babies in dumpsters. Cats have babies in attics, like, or in the middle of a field, like Charlie. Well, not a field, like a yard, courtyard. There we go.
Walks away with an opening kill.
Charlie just birthed her babies in the middle of grass.
Bomb on his back, and all 4 players start to group up for this B hit. But a deep angle held by Roki's off. Carry will be the next piece of reinforcement coming up catwalk.
It'll be okay.
Early on in this game.
It'll be okay.
Drag into the pack. That's gonna catch Wonderful in the backdrop.
I should have held off on my promise of scuff streams because now there's going to be expectations. And Gunther got a little pink dress for his birthday, and Voya gets a blue dress for his birthday. And I don't know how that makes sense because they're both boys, but Gunther's just my fancy Vegas tuxedo baby. That's why he got a pink dress. I promise, all scuffed streams from here on out. I'm not going to be able to be a kitty grandma and a proper looking human being all at once. I'm just not.
Look at the freebies gained inside of Marketplace. Navi just send FaZe a message. This game's not
It
all
will not
about
happen,
Same ball, this time faster, less than
unfortunately. I can fix that a little bit. Oh, get out of my way.
Jacob turns his back.
And thank you.
Damage, but that's fine. He's got the B support preoccupied towards mid. It's a
I appreciate that the braids look classy because they were really just lazy.
You've got Ina in front. Mikaze bests Rain inside
My hair did a funny curl today,
off the corner again.
and I was not having that. But these curled nice. Just everything else went kind of sideways. I don't know what in the foof you're doing today, but I'm not doing it. We qualified for the quarterfinals, I think, or semifinals. We play again, I think, tomorrow at like 5 a.m. Which I will not be awake for that. Or maybe I will. I don't know. Don't jinx it.
That's
I
unbelievable.
don't want to do the next round of Counter-Strike and cats being birth and Counter-Strike.
Stealing the show from each other every round. It's actually pretty sick to watch.
That was sick. That was.
Oh, from that second round, man, when he got the op, you can see it. Oh, he's just on point.
You know, after a moment like that, he's ready to hit more miss shots.
Oh, she's just grooming your friend. Pause. Okay.
So he collects it.
Like, why are you like twitching around?
Nice follow through there.
Pug nose Gunther gets a pink dress. Baby Voy Voy gets a blue dress. That's why. It's because he has a pug little pink nose. Gunther does have a little bubblegum nose. Him and Chong both do. Like, they're a perfectly pink nose. It's perfect. They're perfect. Perfect, dare I say.
So that'll take face down to Josh. But Makaze doesn't seem to be slowing down whatsoever. 16 kills on this T side. 17th is in Kerrigan. Right here on the pillar again. He'll survive that, unfortunately. Final round of play.
He's the reason people worry about Navi.
Feels like with every day that goes by. Ooh, hold on. We get a battle of the Goliaths. And Makaze comes out on top.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have a birthday party for you. I'm sorry, I forgot your birthday. I think Voy is 7-ish.
CD's feeling the squeeze to get
He was
something
fully mature and definitely over a year, so like 2-ish
going. He also resides
when he came in. I don't know, anywhere between like 2 and 5 probably.
end of his pass. 17 and 7.
And he's been here 5 years now.
Four phase to finish with a 7-5 CT side. Bit even
5
on
years of Voya.
Soon to arrive.
We never thought we'd have these Snake and Gunther's food.
How they're gonna scale.
I never imagined we'd have that much time together, but he's also my first FIV kitty too.
But still phase faltering in the
I thought we were like done for from the start, but nope.
Counter-Strike we got on our hands tonight.
Onlookers when it comes to the Jacob move, just because of what we've seen from their Apogee lineup and other
Carry
selections
on.
through here.
He's such a healthy boy too.
6'6".
He just has a bum liver.
If he's in play, what-
He has to take medicine for that every day, and that's it.
Makaze's alive again.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Every round he's alive, he's just apparently finding kills. That's a one-tap headshot from Cat.
He doesn't take his medicine. His liver is like, I give up.
See it because it's frozen that shows skin and then leaves. And oh, where's he going next time?
Jacob, hello. How dare you?
Flies
And
out.
he's so naughty when anyone else tries to pill him except for me.
Two T's coming over, but they have
He's
all
hit
the
and bit my dad.
go somewhere else.
He's
That was
hit
not
and
good.
bit my buddy.
Side view.
This could be a moment for him.
He's not a nice boy if mom not doing it. I can do it in like 2 seconds flat.
Jacob just trying
Not
put
to
the Lexi
brag,
back.
but
Default plan. Let's see if they cover it.
You can keep Lexi back, and it's gonna fall on Wonderful. He's caught the other two, and he gets good in the process. Another bit of impact comes through here from Jacob.
though I am grateful that little Miss Mama,
Standing. But maybe that's what he needs. Spotlight's on
she
him.
got an injection for her
For Makaze. And he doesn't have the kit, he doesn't have full health.
antibiotic.
Ask of him.
I don't have to try and give her pills yet.
Against this site,
Thank
whittling him
God.
down. Bullet by bullet, 10 health,
That would
10 health.
completely ruin our relationship.
And while he finds footing on the site, doesn't look like he's gonna find the clutch. They're still just playing around with it, and hits him with the burst. And so Jacob finds another multi-kill, puts himself right up there with Brokey as the two pieces of
We're
face
learning
crack
how
that
to be
take this lead.
friends. Slavka, thankfully, I can trick her with a pill pocket, and she can take her pills that way. Her white blood cell count was still elevated, so she's on antibiotics right now. But I just sneak it into a pill pocket, and she's like, oh.
23 again, another one of these sudden bursts to the clutch. Nabs bomb and can get out. He can straight up leave. Bit's gonna look
I
for
love the food motivation that street cats have. Ah, fuck.
It's just a clampdown on connector. 3 separate players with different pistols out of Navi rob away what's supposed to be FaZe's strong start.
We'll fix that. I feel like that's something similar to what my dad's probably told him.
Not nothing. That's a connected player.
Oh, my dad was very, very ready for me to be home from Texas when I was in Texas.
But here he's just trying to get in contact. Oh,
He like made it very clear
how can you give that away?
Wonderful knee
when
to
I
the
was
strike back.
on the edge of like, well, should I try and take the drive slower?
While we watch Bit hold off on
You know, like pit stop a couple times. I ended up having to pit stop once on the way home, but he was like kind of rushing me to get home. Like, I don't want to pill him again tomorrow. I don't want to. I don't want to. He wasn't being nice. But I get it. That's fair. My dad's older. He has thinner skin. Like, a scratch is gonna hurt him a lot more than it's gonna hurt me.
Ooh, they'll have to just take a walk after that round. That's really unfortunate for Navi.
I get it. I went like 90 the whole way home from Texas. I just accept my fate when I drive like that of like, I'm probably going to get a ticket. Hopefully I don't, but I probably will. I think the only time I slowed down was when I was in heavy rainstorms and like literally couldn't see. I can only go, I don't know, like 45, 50. Through Missouri, I think, there was terrible rain. Been in with Cali drivers. Do you guys drive like the equivalent of when there's not traffic?
That's Alexi alone right
Drive like the equivalent of fuck, what's it called? The Autobahn in Germany. You just go as fast as you want, no speed limit.
Wilder is still time because of the deep marketplace Molly.
Interesting. Brokey and Jacob.
All right.
The last two. Brokey on form as well. The two shots.
My buddy's brother was in the army, and him and his mom went out to visit him, like stationed over there. And they went on the Autobahn. It was like, it was cool, but it was scary.
Runs out of ammunition. The first of 5.
Like nerve-wracking.
3 players on this lean for Navi.
Yeah, it's
In America, we're taught to drive like everyone else is trying to kill you.
oh, big shot.
He's trying to recover this round. He's gonna have
There's some level of respect on that road, but it's new, it's different, it's hard to grasp.
because he's blind to one in time. Alexi up next. He needed to get that kill with as little damage as possible, so 73 health still enough. He's got the kit, he's got the flash, and he's gonna try and get him a close.
Through the Autobahn or parking lot, there's no middle ground.
Seat race. Leaning back. A lot of
Oh
space
god.
between the 2 players passed to close out this 13.
See, I don't know if I would like that more. I like driving fast. I like being efficient.
Just enough. Alexi hits the headshot.
Or if I'd like how stupid it is here more. I feel like I should probably stick with the devil I know versus the devil I don't.
Not enough, because Brokey, supported by Jacob, had the rest of FaZe to follow through, and they rob away Navi's Mirage.
The spirit of victory, the desire to be first, the challenge to be the
I guess Chicago traffic is similar, but like
warrior in
not as intense.
rejoicing the more
You're either going 60 or you're going 6.
than a major championship
That's no Autobahn,
screen, or
but it sure is frustrating.
all of these immerse us in the world of
Oh my god.
We are among their thousands of fans. We are Skin Club.
And there's like no such thing as a nice merge. Like everything is a cutoff. And I try to be a nice merger, and it's not fair.
FaZe don't really announce themselves until they're ready to jump across. And Enes gonna come up with the first kill in the pistol. Still no vision.
Didn't mind the Autobahn. What's weird going on between countries? Some drive on the right and some drive on the left. What? There's right hand.
In a 1v4.
Wait.
Good start.
Try to what?
Yes, in America we drive on the right. There's right hand drive in Europe?
Right off. Brokey, good jump on the
I
side.
did not know this.
It will make the move, and surely he's not gonna get that, right? That was the most awkward.
Slavka, you're so cute.
He still have his flash this ramp, but he goes for the jump.
Love you.
Find the second, and in that moment, Kerrigan slides out. So
I love you.
It, a 1v4 turned down to 1v1, but Kerrigan's gonna clutch. Brokey strikes me as an Indian spicy kind of guy.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I'm lazy and I don't want to wrap Voices presents, but I'm going to because I feel bad that I forgot his birthday.
Go ahead. It's the guy who was already on the brink of death. But Crowder
He's also getting Christmas papers, so like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You just don't stay, do you?
And he's got another one stuck behind the block, confirmed. Brokey's come off, clock is down for the moment. 25 seconds on the clock, the recovery mission. He's on the way. You would welcome the Galil to challenge through the door, and that's a B-side prime for the table.
Big mistake, wonderful. Second player. Brokey was standing there.
That's so weird. I thought everywhere.
That was 2 on 2. Surely this isn't recovered.
I guess that's kind of unreasonable to think. But in my head, I literally thought everywhere outside of the US
Takes the angle now.
or outside of the Americas.
Brokey can't support it. They do just fly out through window.
You can just push out if he wants to, but they can drag this.
Whoa. MP9
Drive on the other side of the road.
on the other side of the tower.
I just assumed it was like the metric system, like only the US is wrong.
3 for 3.
Remember that Jacob 4K?
Sparkle shoes. Sparkle
Oh, remember that wonderful multi-kill?
shoes.
No, I can't. All right.
It's coming. It's coming. Consistency's still a question for a lot of pieces.
I love these shoes. I ordered a dress for the AVNs years ago, and it didn't end up coming in time. And it was supposed to be custom, and it was going to be beautiful. Kind of like a Harley's dress. There's blood on these shoes from the last time I wore them. Oops. But it never ended up coming in time, so I panic shopped for dress, shoes, etc. while I was in Vegas, and I found the prettiest dress that I love, 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 love. And I found these shoes, and they're so adorable. They're so adorable. Like, they're so cute. I like them. I barely ever wear them. Last time I wore them was when I fell out of a hot tub, and that's why there's blood on them.
That was about to happen, now was it? Oh,
We don't do those things anymore. Or we do, but like responsibly.
I was so focused on the top. I realized they were so quickly out of the door to the window. And
Google says almost all the countries drive on the right and the correct. What? I really assumed that we were the only
take these fights.
right side ones in the Americas. Like, not that we're right. Like, we're pretty wrong, but I thought it was like the metric system. Welcome to Mantopher. Stair climbing shoes. No. Last time I wore these, I fell out of a hot tub. There's a little bit of blood up on here from dripping from my knee. I don't want to talk about it. I just had to laugh about it. Alright, secret stuff. Secret wraps. Aha. I might want to put shorts on under this. I didn't think about that. What is happening? Why are we doing this while I'm putting shorts on? What is happening? I'm stuck in shorts and heels. Step bros. Help. That's probably a little better. Thank you. Welcome, Smoops. Thank you so much for the 9 months. Are you ready to have potentially 3 black babies? Thank you for the 9 months. Thank you for supporting the Stream the Dreams project, you wonderful human being. Thank you so much. Thank you. Woo, 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 woo. I hope the weekend and this fine Catterday is being so kind to you. Oh, Botrix is asleep tonight. Just pretend it's spewing my spiel. And we're about to have potentially 3 black babies. I really wonder what they're gonna look like. We theorized the dad is either an all-white cat or a cow-spotted cat, like Gunther, but more cowy. I don't know what them puppies are gonna look like. Badgers is taking a nap. He said, "It's the weekend. I'm tired, bitches. The month is almost over. I'm done with your toggles. They aren't mine. They're not mine either, but I'm responsible for them." Oh my god. Oh, thank you, Cygenics. You are awesome. Filling in for Botrix. Pfft. Come on, Botrix. We're not getting paid enough for this. We're not getting paid anything at all. Does that mean you get Oreo colored cats? I don't know. So Charlie is, I think Tank is Charlie's baby daddy. And Charlie is obviously a tuxedo cat. And her babies all came out tabbies. Not really too much white. I think I actually have a recent picture of one of the not grandbaby's daughters. Here's Callie. So this is one of Charlie's daughters. I think Tank is the daddy. But that's 3 of those is what came out of Charlie. One of them was long hair and 2 of them are short hair like Callie. She's so cute. Her eyes are so pretty. She has Charlie face. She has Charlie face so hard. Like just the same round. They all have her stature, like her physique, but they look nothing like her color-wise. I don't know. It's all the luck of the draw of genetics. I don't really know how cat genetics work. We'll have to look at that too. She did get adopted. The girl that... So Charlie was coming to eat by me, but the kittens were staying kitty corner, and Charlie was staying kitty corner for me. And she ended up talking to her landlord and being able to keep one of the daughters. And then the other daughter is with her mom, and she still has 3 of the grand kittens that never got adopted. So her mom has 4 of Charlie's lineage, and then my neighbor has 1 of Charlie's lineage, and I have Charlie. And then the other little shittens got adopted out, and Charlie's other daughter unfortunately got hit by a car. So, rip. But, isn't that crazy? Charlie made 10 cats. 1 cat made 10 cats in 1 year. It's wild to me. But don't argue with Voya. It's his birthday. Do you want some cake too? Get the cake. I think we're just gonna make Voya a loaf with some birthday treats. That is a lot of work for a little cat. Honey, just so you know, sometimes when babies come out certainly they're black. I really wonder if they're gonna be carbon copies of her or It just depends how the genetics end up matching up.
Any other, but just because of the timing.
I really like the x-ray of the skeletons, though. It looks like an archaeological dig site. It's neat. Gunther, you're laying on my wrapping paper. You're laying on my wrapping paper.
Well, they just changed the radius.
Callie is so cute.
They changed the radius on Dusty recently.
Little Callie girl.
He was in front of this. He's going through it with the ball.
The kittens are just a little bit over a year old now, I think. Maybe sometime in the last month. A video of them when they were like 6 or 8 weeks came up on my phone. Gunther is the gift that keeps on giving.
Place your bets, folks. Another Brokey 1v3.
I guess it would.
He even matches the Amazon packaging.
I can see you in these.
It's not hard for Gunther to match everything. Black and white matches everything. I need this.
So that's a successful half. They do it without converting after the pistol. Not we can win a pistol or not versus them. We just make sure they pay for it. But for now, not that now here on the beach. The beach is good. In the side of the throw. Oh, I didn't get smoked. And now in this spot, now you're not in this position to actually things that quickly makes it very awkward.
Looking for the 4th pistol round win of the series here, Faze.
This Christmas wrapping paper is really the gift that keeps on giving.
What pressure looking for? What pressure? Great question. Towards long, Kerrigan goes down with nothing. Unless there was a Molotov
I need
there
that
available as
tape,
well.
tape, 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 tape. Gunther put his tuxedo on. I mean, Voya's present kind of was Gunther a few years ago. Gunther was adopted in July. That's just an early birthday present.
At least refresh the smokes here. Brokey's off it from behind.
My little July guy.
Another team kill.
Gunther, that's not yours.
Not ideal.
It can be after we open it, but it's for Voya first.
Written all over it.
Actually, kind of crazy that they aren't coming out with that all, but.
It's for Voya first.
Find the backside, so Navi have got themselves
Hello,
a little
Slavka.
lead here on Dusty. I mean, I say little.
Kerrigan's off 3 people as they just
And that game for setting the quarters, I think that's a better chance for the Faze that's on a
Don't tell Voya what these are. Don't tell him.
You know, like we said, these elusive top 5 victories.
Don't tell him.
Eager team vitality in a game that both teams are qualified
He
for
can
playoffs.
see
It's much
everything
like
that
the
I'm doing.
decider back at EWC, where I feel like Falcons wanted that so badly.
taking advantage of those.
I mean, we're talking about vitality that has a map loss to M80 and a map loss to Gamer Legion in the last 48 hours. Are you telling me FaZe don't have a chance of winning that? So, not only do they have a chance, they would really benefit from it to just kind of streamline this return.
Are you
to the top
helping,
5.
Slavka? You're a good helper.
I don't need to be consistent. It's not
You're a
because
good helper.
another 5v4 space, the FaZe plan continues
You
to
just
continue
want the
to
toy.
lose and walk away with better positions.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
It's not
the
actually
season right now
helping.
is
She
like
just wants the toy.
pre-COVID 2024 type of form.
Shot one goal. Shot Alexi.
Boop.
Breaking down the doors of the B-side, range on the recovery. He hears Emus stomping his way around the corner. The support from Tunnels comes through. And the mid players were a little late to that party. You know, we could see Kerrigan come flying through previously. This time he waits a second. And with the door smoke busted open, both players to the right side won't stop the bomb because Emus got the cover. It's a chance for Pickett to shine in the clutch. But the coverage comes through from bit on and off. And Navi win a 4v5.
Hey, not too bad. Great. I mean, that was a great attempt on both for Rain. I love the way you use the flash. B-side
No,
smoke.
no, no.
Too short history. Another team that is the best at playing from behind and still closing no games. Coming from nowhere.
Sudden pop to the Psycho Rain from Flash. That was his teammate's flag.
I feel like the worst mom in the world. This is not the way to do this. I forgot your birthday, boy. I'm sorry. It's been a crazy year.
Come out long.
I'd say it's been a crazy month, but it's been a crazy year.
He tried to go deep on that frag, and I really felt like he thought there was only one there, and the one was a pit, and the one was a pit.
Oh,
Now,
don't do it.
it's
Don't do
a
it.
situation.
What are you doing?
That looming threat of the mid to B's gotta be on Kerrigan's mind.
This is called. This is where the match point goes. We'll see. It would be the first 4v5. Now he could pull off.
We've all got a fresh rookie on our minds, but smoked off his ankles. Oh, wild line. Down goes Makaze, down goes Alexi.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
Manager of Navi faces
Don't look at it.
the streak of rounds
Don't look at it.
unless the players apply
Before you got Slavka as a present, what do you try to return it?
still floating down in
I mean, I don't think so. He hasn't kicked her out of here yet. They're good. They babysat her a couple times today. I don't think he would pick her out at the store, but I don't think he would return her. I don't think he would choose her. I don't think he'd put her in the cart. Hello, little helper. I don't think Voya would put you in the cart. Here, first present.
hesitant at 45 seconds.
Extra paper.
Gamma finding the angle of the top middle. The Pepper Weaver.
This is the the most scuffed cat birthday in the entire universe.
Oh, are they going for a late first almost push? That could be the move, but even better for Navi is just fast towards A.
Better than nothing. Dude, my boy. I'm sorry you don't get a million new toys, but to be fair, you have a million toys already.
Hell of a way to just play it. Good gun here picked up now for Jacob.
A million.
Wonderful. Should be easy peasy.
Nicely done, Roki trades.
He doesn't even. Oh, he gets the AK.
Plaza gets off into the corner. You can try to strike with the knee over top. And Yakima swing out as the approach comes through. Single player left over.
My neighbors are having a big party and they're doing live music. I don't know if you guys can hear like the little bass bounces. It's fun though. I was enjoying it when I was outside with the dogs. It's usually the highlight of the birthday parties is the balled up paper. Or like the highlight of Christmases. Woo. Yeah, that's all Voya cares about right now is the balled up paper. That's all he cares about. Alright, we have the bow tie. We have the hat. We have another hat. It's very cute. Oh, that's not for people. And then I have these. I don't know what these make up. And what was this? Do these say words? I feel like I have enough cat birthday party kits to make up like the same amount that like teachers have for like individual class birthdays. If that's even still a thing. If the whole world is like Jehovah's Witnesses now, I don't know, birthdays are forbidden. It's a very cute little party hat. Thank you, thank you. Do these just have paw prints or do they say words?
You keep an eye on their victories.
Ah.
When something goes wrong, and you'll chase even more from the cease. Whether it's a game in a major championship, a new
This is not in order of words.
all of these immerse us in the world. We are among the thousands of
I think it's happy birthday. H A P. Thanks for watching. You're welcome. Thanks for streaming it. P. I said PP. Y.
Guys, but still, he's the big brand value I'd say that has come over, and I think it's really promising.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I didn't be quite impressed by
Birthday starts with a B, Serena.
Here on overpass.
B.
Fast trade right back. Frozen peels away, but it's not gonna be a chase up to the bathrooms.
I. This is the stupidest card game ever.
Jacob early.
R.
Okay, and Roy Ray's not
T.
gonna go
H.
through.
Happy birth
Eyes are on Jacob now.
day.
Duel, and he picks it up and
Okay.
he loses his teammate. So Rain with the last couple bullets, not gonna get the third kill, draws it into Monster. He at least posts his two. We keep the numbers even at 10 seconds. No utilities, no kits.
Taking advantage of the
Right
wall.
out of Kerrigan.
Not hitting the wall, we're taking advantage of the
Right
wall.
in that moment, we've got Ecstatic on the board out the gate, folks.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to be watching this game for the phase in these.
I feel like birthdays were only celebrated if you brought something for the
There's no
class.
big flanks coming in. They're trying to watch everything and be careful.
Like in tiny elementary years, I think the teacher would have like your birthday on a calendar or something, and it'd be like, oh my god, it's so-and-so's birthday today. Let's wish them happy birthday and sing happy birthday. And that's like the end of it. And then I remember in like middle school years, like you bring like cookies or brownies or like chippies or snacks before food allergies were a thing. Bring something for everybody. Then in high school, it's nothing. It's like, it's not my birthday. Shun, shun, shun. Otherwise, you get punched a bunch of times in the hallway.
And he finds his duel. Playing a dangerous game.
Birthday punches.
Looks good for Ecstatic. Also makes a move forward here. There's some weak pieces like this Deagle out on the field, but he doesn't kill TFE. He'll kill the players in front.
Perfect composure.
Not to mention the damage done to TFE.
Come here, ma'am.
From Andalela, and so 5v4. Ecstatic go up in flames. Frozen aggressive from long.
Voya's broom is up there.
To put FaZe Clan back on the
Little
board.
paws, Paw Patrol.
He has spotted for
Paw
the
Patrol.
So keep it. There you go. 45 health left over. Bump can get picked up.
And time.
Half a marathon to get over towards the A site.
It's no Iron Man.
Jump on fish back to get there.
Happy.
Gonna hear him drop in. Roki his chance. Still time to win this round.
Above
Got
the-
smoke down in front. He needs to know he's a rider.
Yeah.
And jump over to the line. He won't take that chance. Nut knows better. And a headshot. Kerrigan. I'm hoping that was before time expired because it was in the final seconds. Alright, playing for a bit more control of the spawns now our phase. hit and run
Why are you
here.
grumpy?
Smoke ahead of Amalele. He's gonna play around it.
Grumpy.
Rifles on that line. Flashback almost blind. Everybody look at this push here from Rain.
It shows it.
And he's gonna find TNT with grenades.
Grumpy.
Great presence of mind. And then Brain splattered. Oh no, a disconnect from Frozen makes this a 2v5. Even worse. Jacob, time to shine, brother. It's a 1v5. 4 players outside of the bomb sites.
Did he just after?
Yes.
3 kills.
Yes. He disconnected after the first 2 kills on the other half of the map. Oof. And now they know where the last player is with air control because Frozen's gone.
Hi, are
And
you
so
gonna
now
help?
It's gonna rotate upwards. This is gonna be the
Are
tough
you a
part to
helper?
solve for FaZe Clan.
Yeah.
This could have been just like a really genius moment from, but since nobody took engagement with him at short, he was so sure about the setup.
She's
he
a
was, like,
helper.
Really prepared to find somebody. whether it
Mommy's
was
little
not at short
helper.
Or very unlikely to like pushing back through the smoke. They killed someone that would help.
Jacob on the half wall, Rain in the push. Roki about to strike, starts to run. And a Rain double before the flank even hits its mark. Ooh, that is fantastic if you're FaZe Clan. Total sweep of the ecstatic attack. I'm gonna be scooped up at the bottom of the ladder right now, and you can see it moving its way towards Monster. So I feel like we're gonna get ecstatic shifting back into this B site ahead of time. Again, don't give yourself time to get flanked.
No,
as
that's
the
not
last round,
stable.
And maybe this B site crumbles. Still 3
That's a
defenders
blow-up
here.
thing.
Gates in hand, they get past that cross, and Jacob goes down with nothing. Rain, single kill. A mass 10
Ooh.
double entry into the Chris 2 third
Rock
frag.
climbing cat. She's like a mountain goat. She scales things.
On the approach, and
Oh,
he's gonna
there it
put this back
goes.
to a tie game at the fourth.
Anchor's not anchored.
From Jacob, he was the only person who could have stopped that in its tracks. If he,
Yeah, birthday punches and birthday pinches are no fun.
Open to it. He had a teammate on the back of the site.
FaZe having a hard time.
They're from someone Serena size didn't carry as much as inertia. With those little fists, sure do dig. Alright, I'll be the only one doling out birthday punches from now on. I just gotta crack my knuckles first. Be nice to her. Or be nice to him. I don't know who's bitching.
2v3. Oh, I was gonna say it's recoverable, but
Whoever's
Jacob's like
bitching, be
2 up
nicer.
now. On the 1-on-3 hunts, let's see if he can
Instead of
actually
bitching,
give
be
himself
better.
chances. 1 kill early, and maybe there's hope. Shot miss from Roki.
Activate Kerrigan, surely.
Did you know you can save 100% by switching to not bitching?
It's a freebie. 5-4 FaZe Clan.
They will go unnoticed. Roki looks a little suspicious, however. Oh, I think that was 2 spotted. Oh, wait, no, surely.
Yeah, he knows. He's on high alert, knows that he's in a dangerous position. He hits that shot on Azira, and as they
Do 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 do.
nearly half
So they say it's your birthday.
falls back to the half wall, and not
It's
everybody
done
is
at
able
the
to
done.
Not that on 20. Chris Duke
So they
reaches back
say
to
it's
Kerrigan
your
in between the tees,
birthday.
and Frozen applies a good amount of pressure. No scope in both directions. FaZe Clan only go 1, and that is forward, leading now by 2 rounds over Ecstatic.
this is where I think FaZe are getting some value back. He will need to exact up short. Raids cause problems for them.
Happy Bert.
Nice. Felt like that was pre-gaming that.
Happy Bert. Happy Bert, everybody. Happy Bert for you.
Nails the headshot. They get damage.
Some guy is so cute and clueless. She don't know what she doing. I love that for her.
As soon as they double needed it, or triple needed it, excuse me, the round prior. And now this is basically a wash. They've got Kerrigan spotted, low on HP. How do you want to win, Ecstatic?
Kerrigan's gonna fight tooth and nail for this one. We've got 3 players coming at Roki. It's a position whereby he can cut them down one by one.
Happy birth.
Every shot, and he can do it. If not for Zero pressing that barrel right against his head. Kerrigan 40 health 1v2 met by smoke on the approach.
Happy birthday.
Off to this player, but one man makes the difference, and 1 round could do the same. An excellent 5-round T-side for Ecstatic as they try to spoil FaZe Clan's debut.
Happy birthday.
Slow burn until the sudden swing that could have been for Zero. Definitely had chances to hit a shot. Instead, 5v3 for
Happy
FaZe.
birthday. Alright, so I think it looks stupid from where I am, but it works with the perspective of where my camera is. Yep.
Won't be too hard for Nut to challenge through, but it's covered by Rain. Crosshair on the money. And the next
Dynamite.
round towards Dumpster, already down to a measly 8 points of health. So Rain here jumping.
Happy Bert, everybody.
And unfortunately for Amalole, doesn't actually end up fighting anybody in bathrooms. But Rain's gonna come sliding in looking for another frag. One for the road.
Not too bad.
Red's answer. No kill on the site. That would change things. He's gonna tap to try to pressure. There is still 10 seconds, but Kerrigan's so far away, and the bomb is planted for bathrooms. If he had a kid, he maybe could try to cause more panic, but still, fragile him for a second. Gone pretty heavy on this M4. They're the only one with a real rifle. There's a question as to whether Rain full clears. He will, and still falls. Easy swap out. But playing with his mates. Zero, not expecting this fast change from Roki, who gives him a chance to win the duel.
A little awkward.
He looked kind of scared about it all.
Yeah, a little awkward. Actually, I'm not sure what team it was. I've seen a roster not play.
It's cuter like that, I think.
Well, maybe if the CT want to come snap, there's a chance of them. One good shot here from the scout changes things.
Am I like
First
weird?
one misses. Flash is good. Teammate thinks makes it weird. The 5-7 could thrive as he puts his head back down. Chris 2 gets back into it. Hit the skill. Not serving up a good distraction. Chris 2 though, no multi-frag. It's a Kerrigan climb up for 2. And a Desert Eagle between Ecstatic and their 6th round trying to dive the bomb. Not going to stop it from getting planted. 7 shots in the fresh mag versus 2 rifles. And it's too much to ask of it. Right there with that Chris 2 scout kill. The 5-7 popped up.
more than just
It looks like a crossword puzzle.
there is no CT side.
Cute.
That's where your off doesn't have massive impact when
It's
back.
cute. It's cute. Alright, I want my coffee. And then we're gonna sing to Voya. Put a little hat on his head. And do the things. Whatever the things are. The things. To do the things. Hi, Savka. You're very cute. You're very cute.
Back to the spawn and right back where he started. That ace is the one that sends FaZe back to A, back to B, follows behind them, like he's hurting them around the map. It's actually wonderful. What play, what a moment there for Zero in such a good game as well.
Two sitting ducks.
It's not just a anchor spray down on a side hold.
We saw their
Hey,
machine
Goobers.
running on the attack utility. Everything was healthy for Ecstatic. Let's see if they can follow through in the upset. A lot of damage for TMB. Wallbang versus Rain. What do you expect?
You know what I thought to myself earlier? When I wake up from my nap, I'm going to order Star Schmucks and get a strawberry matcha thing like I got before, and it was very good, and I forgot about that until now. Thanks for the reminder!
So I love the push equally here from
Instead,
Lele.
16
He's gonna be on the
Starbucks
hunt.
is closed.
Going
Damn it.
very, very well to flank now.
House coffee it
Zero and
is.
Allen speed up Turley.
House blend. House brew.
And then the flank hits the perfect timing.
You are so silly.
For a better result if you are Ecstatic in that moment.
He has to rub the flank a little bit, but he does it at the perfect moment. The fact is there are 3 CTs left, and they all got great fights at the exact same 9 versus FaZe.
They're still flowing between both halves of bathrooms. TMB now sliding into the CD side bath as well.
He's gonna start coming forward now. The bathroom, because look at the clock, 40 seconds.
As they turn.
Yeah.
Oh, you painted a beautiful picture. And Sierra gonna play the walls of connector.
And now they only have one choice, and it's not a good one.
Not at all. Chris Hughes off. A nasty angles on the cover of Pillar in front of him. Misses the shot though. That could be the open door because Broky's gonna best him heads up. You've got a lot of bodies here. And Lele Belt beckons him in. Not serving up the distraction. Finally goes down. And TMB on the scene in time. 7 seconds. Broky denied. Sierra gets in. And we've got this game tied at 10.
Well, they could have afforded an off shot getting missed there. No molly on the barrels.
The setups of each of these rounds are just putting Ecstatic in comfortable positions. They're guessing. It feels like they've got the picture of the round in mind, and then the follow through with plays like this. Zero keeps that spray going, shoots through 2 of these armored pistols. And while Kerrigan's down to half health, they may take some distance closer to the A site, but it has already brought TMB up from the other half. And still some utility to work with if you're Ecstatic to slow this down. We hit a minute, but the AK has been grabbed by Kerrigan. And if not him, they're still Frozen and Brogy to try to go hero mode. And we know FaZe Clan have heroes in their ranks. That's the whole soul of FaZe. And so Kerrigan with even less health now continues to try to press. Off shot between the feet, opens the door for the bomb plant. Wall bang on the dice, doesn't connect. And so we go post black for FaZe Clan.
Don't drop this one, Ecstatic.
It's a long flank, soon to be realized by Amalay. Like Kerrigan pressing the AK in, has now lost the rifle. Despite good damage, Christopher stands the test. From the bottom of the scoreboard, he gets a critical kill with man advantage, but 2 Ds in the hands of FaZe, folks. And that damage from Kerrigan now nets them another slow burn from Amalay. He's got a hit into the border, he makes noise, and they're gonna clear them out with hits across the board. Ecstatic still find 11.
Yeah, no problem at all. They'll pick that up and take the lead.
But we're starting to get into that scary place where now FaZe Clan are gonna get wild. Chris Duke again haven't had to mention him too much, and now he's starting to find his moments.
Here's a kill here and there at this point, and they'll be in a solid spot.
He's late to the party, but they're there now, about to celebrate. A 12th round win is a sigh of relief. A 13th a celebration. And a static defense, Ecstatic, sit in sight. Kerrigan's already slipped out through Monster. They're gonna try to just bounce off the flash. And the Lele offers up the distraction. Nobody looking towards barrels just yet. Oh, double kill and a ton of damage as well for Broky to have to deal with. It's that same defense repeat.
Okay, nut, man. Their barrels guy has been an issue for FaZe this entire half. And a chance to get 13 right here and now.
An aggressive out of 8 into connector, but also the double push on long. This isn't Ecstatic sitting back like last round and allowing for a hit to come their way. They are looking to end this. Making moves may be costly in round 23. 4v5, queued up. And Chrisu, who's been finding late form into the bathrooms, gets blasted by Kerrigan. Now it's a massive ask.
They don't think he's here at all.
And Lele slides in. And a double kill brings us right back to even ground. Not to mention still that long player. TMB is holding it though. He's gonna push through. He's got 5. Gets both
You
headshots.
staring down your sister? Hi!
A triple kill in front of him. A little too much to
You
ask.
think she loves me?
Or an Ecstatic upset here in map 1 to spoil Jacob's debut.
Had a big iced coffee today. It's toasty. You didn't sleep great? Oh, I'm sorry. It's hard to sleep when it's hot. I feel for you. Are you ready for out? Or you want to party with us? Come party, Slavka. Peer pressure. I feel for you. It's rough not getting sleep. You're just on baby daddy hours. That's what it is. You're on baby daddy sleep hours.
The challenge to be the best.
You're gonna need to invest in a lot of iced coffee.
And rejoice even more when we see success.
I need to buy some good coffee in the next couple of days so that I have good awake juice.
We are among their thousands of fans. We are Skin Club.
For when I'm a grandma.
I don't have questions for them. Thoughts for face.
The shots on
Does that make Pippi like a great grandma?
where he was on overpass with a one tap onto Kerrigan. So they're just gonna try to truck along. And Lele back into cover in a 5v3.
Mr. Voya,
Lanzak walked ahead of Amalele.
it's your birthday.
Distance between him and the last
It's
two
your
teams.
birthday.
And Nutnut takes the swing and they just
Do
feed
do
themselves.
do 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 do.
Come down low.
If this T-side calls for
Do
it right
do
now, no
do
resistance
do
at all.
do
Smoke up
do
versus
do.
Frost. And despite Stack's best efforts to
Do
move
do
that Stack
do
into
do
right
do
angle,
do do.
nobody comes knocking.
Do 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 do.
Carefully turned over.
Oh, you're ready to play. Okay. Okay. What does it?
2 USP kills is 2 USP kills too many.
See, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to.
Made of CT's names on it.
Okay.
That eight's not massive damage. And Rookie's so confident the US being off. This is so baby. Vanilla just
I was gonna sing happy birthday to you and put a hat on your head.
Kerrigan and Brooke. You take those
Say,
players.
not right now, Mom.
Oh, and actually, or more.
I bite on you now.
No, not all 5. No way you lose all 5. Ooh. Long's gonna kill TMB, so Kerrigan is sold for
Said you
5.
forgot my birthday. I'm still sour over that.
And 85 damage.
Oh my god.
4 players strong for Face Clan. Right at that tunnel entrance, utility soars over.
That's what it is. I'll be a great grandma just by being awesome.
But no teammate.
So most plates are coming out like this now anyway, but for whatever reason, when my grandpa bought the car that I have now, because I have my grandpa's car. Why so many big words? What's up, girl? It came with the plates that started with AG, which I see all the time now. It's common just because like every plate of numbers has been overused and they have to roll out new ones. I don't know. That's how it is in the Midwest. I don't know if it's like that everywhere. Anyway, moving on from that. It started with AG, and my dad had a custom license plate. So I thought this one was custom, and I asked my grandpa, what does AG stand for? And without batting an eye, he goes, awesome, grandpa. And I truly believed him, and for years, I thought his plate actually was awesome, grandpa, until I replated the car, and it was just a normal plate. I really thought it was just awesome, grandpa, and some combination of numbers. I believed him. I am naive as fuck sometimes. Like, it's really easy to pull a fast one on me. Welcome, Romeo. Aw, thank you. Thank you. We try. We try. How could I not be happy and positive? It's Boy's birthday. It's a baby's birthday, even though baby was one, she won mom. Funny and sweet story all in one. It's one of my favorite grandpa anecdotes. I have many, but that's one of my favorites. Just without batting an eye, awesome grandpa. And I believed it. My grandpa didn't lie to me. I believed it.
Not allowed to get off, so Roki takes position inside TMB flat.
Boy, yeah. Birthday. Darn it. 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 Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, I thank you. No cake, but he's gonna have some birthday cookies. Some birthday cookies. Look out, Nick. My son's birthday. Birthday boy. Oh, mom stuff out of the way. We don't need that. Fuck that shit. Well, I mean, there is a lot of awesome grandpies. So. Readies? You don't even have to do treats. It's your birthday. You don't have to do tricks for your treats. Slavka, do you want? feel like a feeding machine. Birthday. I wonder if he'll wear the bow tie right now. Ha ha ha. Haha. He's so cute. Hold on, hold on. Do 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 do. You have. Why do you look at what they're having? Okay. That's a lot of cookies. Good job. Still more. They're so cute. Slavka's so tiny. Oh my god. No cake. I forgot and I gave Voya's loaf of wet food earlier. And you can't have too many crazy things because he has a wonky liver. I'm just a mean mom, that's all. I'm withholding. I am a mean mom. Actually, his birthday was on the 21st and I forgot. I forgot. I just did. That's how it goes sometimes. It's been a busy month. A very busy month. You wanna open your prezzies? I'm gonna take a picture of you and your little bow tie. Are we just all wearing bow ties this year? That's how this is going. Slavka says, no me. Move your butt. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Birthday boy. Da boop boop. Da boop boop. Okay, I love you too. Are you done with it? Okay. That's fair. That's fair. He's prickly. He's grumpy with me, or he wants his presents. I don't know. I think I got a couple of cute ones. Aw. I think I got one of Tank with his little tongue sticking out too. So cute. You're so cute. Oh, he's just being a lump. Lumpy boy. Aww. Well, I mean, I'm just crazy. But thankfully the crazy works out for the better. I use my crazy for good, not evil. When did you wear the party hat? I don't think you're in the mood for that though, and that's okay. That's fair. It's not like I searched for it everywhere or anything. You wanna open your prezzies? Open your prezzies? Let's see. Let's see. What have I been hoarding in the cabinet from you? Which one first? This one. This one. This one. This one. We play musical roundabouts. Oh, that just doesn't benefit in general. There you go. He's a fancy boy. He's a fancy man. He's a very fancy man. He's my little Dapper Dan. Alright, this one. This one. This one. This one. This one. I don't know how to do this. I've never done this game before. Pick. Choose. Choose your fighter. He's dead staring at the middle one. I think that's about all the effort that we're getting in. Oh wait, you looked at that one. Are you changing your mind? Okay. This one first. You wanna see? You wanna see this? Crinkle balls! Crinkle balls, crinkle balls, crinkle all the way. No, they're for him. I know you love them too. She's such an asshole. Oh my god. Yeah, you're gonna have like 10 of these floating around. Oh, is it old news now? Well, yeah. She's wild. Tag stayed in that one. You what? You're so salty that your birthday is late. I'm sorry, Jesus. Here, we'll save that for the rest to recycle, then you can have the other plastics or the other papers. Player 2 has entered the birthday. Tiny Demon Girl is taking over. She says, I'm the baby. I get all the presents. I'm the baby. Voya, what's this one? It's the leaf. Voya has 3 of these, and we've lost all of them. I actually think they're behind those bookcases. They're too heavy to move. But Leaf is the ultimate toy. Leaf is best friend. Leaf is the greatest thing that ever was. In paper. Leaf. 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 No recycle. No, recycle is not for Voyas. Leaf. Okay, well generally Leaf is the greatest thing that ever was. And another leaf! Because you lose them all the time. You love Leaf. Give Leaf the love he deserves. Boop! Boop! Here, Leaf. Love the Leaf. Live the Leaf. Live the Leaf life. I think Leaf is a catnip toy. It's mint. It's not catnip, it's mint. Catnip is in the mint family, so I don't know. Maybe they're some of the same effect. Usually it chases that thing like a psychopath. Oh yeah, Leaf. Sorry. Maybe he doesn't want to race around because he knows Slavko will chase him. Oh, I didn't think that through. Oops. I forgot there's a Zoomy Psycho over here. Okay, you go get Leaf. Okay. The epitome of feline grace. She eats shit all day long. Like, she doesn't actually eat poop, but she falls off of things all day long. Like, to the point where, like, I look at her for a while and I'm like, are you a wobbly cat? Like, do you have something wrong with you? And then she acts normal for a while and, like, walks completely fine. And I'm like, okay, there's nothing wrong with you. But then she falls off of something again. And I'm like, is there something wrong with you? She's not the most coordinated girl. She's like her mama. It's how we do. It's how we roll in this house. Us girls. Slavka means weebles. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Slavka falls down. She fell off the kitchen counter earlier today. She fell off the cat tree today. She missed when trying to jump up there just now. I don't think she's done any more tumbles today. I think that's about it. She's bonkers. I love her. She's bonkers. You're crazy, girl. You're taking over the boys' presents. That's not how birthdays work. Boya, come here. Get some extra treats. Come here, birthday boy. He says okay. Oh, hello. Happy boy. Boy is a big dog. Come here. He's a big dog. You gotta grasp it. There you go. Hey. Little birthday boy, I love you. Thank you for giving me so many amazing years. Give me like 1 million more, please. Live forever. How about that? Try that. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Okay, that's enough treats. You're gonna get sick. You're gonna get sick. You can't have too much candy. Can't have that much wild stuff. Little birthday bean. Little birthday bean. I love you. Mwah. He's just a little birthday bean. He's just a little beanie biscuit. Excuse me, Mr. Blub. Okay, boy, you had a birthday. I'm proud of you. You did good. Oh, Slavka's in bed playing with the chicken. Oh, no, now she's over it. I swear to God, everyone in this house needs Ritalin. I swear to the gods. To the old gods and the new. I don't think I want a sweater. Alright, let's open this crap up and figure out what gets delegated where, and then hop in with Little Miss Mummy. Little Miss Mama Kitty. Little Miss Kimpton. Can I crop this a little bit differently? Just temporarily. There we go. Little peanut head. She's so cute. She's so cute. Oh, the whatchamacallit, the leaf toys? Voya's obsessed with them, despite what he's trying to communicate to us tonight of otherwise. He is obsessed with them. He's just being a big fat liar tonight. He loved them. I guess they're like dental chews, but they're fabric. They're just regular toys. I hope your babies like them though. Alright, this is Serena stuff. It's not important. This goes back over here though. Hi, I didn't realize you were right under there. It's fine. Meow. 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 So hard not to talk back to you. I want to put Ringo in his crate too when we're out of here. Just so he's not clomping around being a loudmouth. Munster's delivery. It's for the man. What's this? This is heavy. What are you? Oh, okay, good stuff. More calming spray, because I gave my other calming spray to my dad, and he didn't want to pick up the phone, so I didn't borrow it back. It was literally easier just to get it from Amazon than to get it from him. He's something else, man. He's a silly goose. Alright, this is for baby. And then pants can go in the kitchen, but those are for baby too. This is for, oh, potty bags. Usually a whole thing of these will last me about a year. I buy them every January. And now I had to buy one now. I had to get a new box of them now. Too much poop. Too much poop. It's similar to Feel Away, but this one is a slightly different formula. And this one, I believe, I don't know what the brand is. It mimics like the pheromones or hormones or smells or whatever of a mother, so they feel calmed that way. I've never had any luck with Feel Away. Like, it's just never accomplished. I'm not, like, knocking it, but it's never accomplished anything with mine. This, I think, helped with Tank. I used it with Slavka, but Slavka has no calm. She has no chill. She's the Diesel of cats. It's Nature's Miracle brand for stressful situations. I like this one, though. I feel like it helped with Tank. Potty bags. Divvy those out. Or actually, this whole box can just go in the kitchen. Kitchen. Be gone, thought. I feel like a cat has to be really, really, really sensitive for Feel Away to work. Otherwise, it's just not strong enough for the average bear. I don't know. I've never had any luck with it. Oh, and this package is for Tank. The zoo gets more from Amazon than I do. Oh no, one of those are for me. Probiotics. And then the rest are for Tank. His delectable delivery. The delectables. All the delectables. They fell off the back of a truck. And this should be for Miss Mommy. I don't know what's in here that's clicky. Oh, the binder clips. Because the other one doesn't have a top, so I'm just going to put a blanket over it and then clip it all around. She's not, like, combative. She's not trying to break out of there. She's not trying to be wild. I think it'll be fine. That way she has 2 tents to figure out where she wants to baby. This is the other tent. Is it going to be short? It's extra large. And it's 29.5 inches tall, which I think is bigger than that. I don't know. I don't know how to perspective things. You got cherry lemonade from Amazon that came in the mail today. Nice! Is it one that you like, or a new one, or like a special one? Why Amazon? Or are you just like me, where it's like, fuck going to the store? I only used Feel Away a couple times many years ago. I was wondering how that product type has evolved. Did you have any luck with it? And did you use the spray or like the Glade plug-in style thing of it? I've only used the plug-ins. I don't think it worked well. I used it either for moving or integrating with another cat. I wasn't impressed. No. I don't feel like it works well. I think this works too. I mean, it doesn't make like a huge difference. It's not like, oh my god, everything, it's a magic spray, everything's perfect. I think it helps a little bit. And Feel Away, I don't think did shit though. That's interesting though. I haven't tried the spray, but I've tried the plugins and they suck. They also got really hot too, which I don't like. I feel like they're gonna set on fire. And that's scary. And some clean rags. Same ones I got for Pippi when she was recovering with her eye. To be able to keep everything sanitized and good for her. Binder clips, because apparently buying 100 of them is like the cheapest, most efficient option. I don't know. I have a bunch of binder clips somewhere. I don't know where they went. I like having binder clips. Now I have binder clips. So I can pinch everyone's noses when they're naughty. Oh, it's like an assortment of sizes. That's exciting. Pinchy, pinchy. I want to pop this up in here first and see how big it is. Because I don't believe this. What is the validity of your product? I have concerns. I have questions. I have comments. thoughts to share. It has to be like folded in half, right? What in the fucking jumper cables is this shit? I just feel like this is the wrong size thing in like the wrong box. Like I need this to be okay. What if she pops tonight? Come on. Okay, it is tall. And what if this pops right now? Yeah. It should be the same size as the other one. Yes, it's a little taller though, which is good, I think. I feel like probably. Oh, it's a hell of a lot bigger. That's awesome. That's huge. Looks like a hot tub. Jump right in. Oh my god. Window sunscreen. Oh gosh. Open Pandora's tent. I need window sunscreen. My legs are like the most hilarious colors. The difference between my arms is comical. You've opened Pandora's tent. I sure did. I didn't expect it to pop like that. Okay. I'm happy with this. Thank you, Amazon. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. In a tent like that, it surprised you every time it popped open. I didn't expect it. I just didn't. How does this actually close up? So from not being, I think it was just packaged efficiently, because to close up, it will, I want to shrink it down to bring it in her room anyway. Let me get some overhead perspective here. Because there's this. So I think. Ah! That's using your head. There you go. I'm guessing that's right. It's a little curly, but I also did that kind of fast and stupid, so it works. But I think that's how it'll actually fold up going forward, but like this tucked in and like more neater. It pops into a peanut shape. Okay, we can do this. Take my shoes off. We got this. We got this. Go from fancy to farmhand. Kind of. I don't know. She's a cat, not a goat. I don't know. Just go with it. I'm gonna put these over so that they're ready to go in by her. Slavka, where is you? You're sleeping on the tree. Boys, will you babysit her for me, please? Go chug some coffees. I like the song. I don't know what it is, but it feels good. It's a feel-good song. What is it? Oh, it's called Artificial Love. AI. Pretend it's not heartbreak. Just pretend it's it. Are we ready? Cat daddies, queue up. Queue up. It's just the way she's set. Okay. Still dinking myself for. How do you forget that something is broken? Because I saved it instead of throwing it away, but like. I just figured I'd use it like when we go on trips or something. Chauncey doesn't need his carrier closed unless the cats are eating. He just likes having a house to go into, a safe place. Doesn't need to close. He just likes having the space. Tripod. Hello, Mr. Gunther. Now it got super tall. Oh, wait, am I just sitting? Now it's about as tall. What did I do different? Now it's tall. The world is playing mind games with me. I swear to God. Mind games. Oh, meds. Mind games and meds. Hello, baby. Gunther. Gunther, come on. You're not going on basement adventures. Come on. Thank you. What's up, good? You want out? Okay. 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 She's such a funny little tiny biscuit. Sarah was super. Why? I mean, like, I appreciate the efficiency of space, but why do water bottles need to be filled to the top? Especially the ones with the tiny caps. That's just cruel. There are people that like to cause evil in this world. And the people that invented that are one of them. It's very dramatic, but I don't care. I don't care. I feel strongly about it. I'm just gonna be Donald Duck. Oh wait, I didn't check the audio source. Dang it. My stinky butt. Stinky. iPhone microphone. Okay. I'm gonna lose audio for 1 sec. I'm so confused. It's working, it's just not showing up. Oh. Okay, I'm glad you decided you can function now. It's nice. That's fabulous. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Universe, I want a break. Give me some chill. Gosh. Goodness golly gosh. Okay. Maybe include us all together here and then happen with the wheel. The what? Do I know anything that I'm doing today? No. I know how to do cat stuff though, so it's okay. Tech doesn't matter. Only cat. Bingo. It's a little early for that, buddy. Old buddy, old pal. Ain't no rest for the cat doula. Kittens, unfortunately, do kind of grow on trees. Got bills to pay. Got vet bills to pay. Got mouths to feed. Hopefully, there's enough cat titties. The remix. Okay. This baby hair has been bugging me all day. It does not know what it wants to do with its life. I don't like putting gel in my hair because then it feels yuck. And swappers category. Animals, aquariums, and zoos. We are easy. We are easy. Okay. Onwards. Water. Cocoa. Oh yeah. Happy birthday. It's like, man, I'm getting old. I'm partied out. What happened here tonight? Gunther's passed out. He's so cute. Oh, chapstick. Mr. Bean. You want to chill? Floop. Floop, floop. Floop. Says, man, I'm partied out. Had some hot girl in here earlier. Some hot little thing. All partied out now. Oh, these idiots. Gunther and Slavko. Slavko's trying to break in again. Gunther is like, who's throwing hands? I'll throw hands. You throw hands. We can all throw hands. Her little feet. She looks like a rabbit. Slavushka. We're coming your way, kid. We're coming your way. Eep. Eep, eep, eep. Now let's get this sorted for Miss Mummy. Girl, yeah, man, that's exactly how I feel. Man. 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 Man, 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 man. Man, 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 man. Man, 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 man. Man. I just speak cat all day long now. Meow. Case in point. Nope. 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 The answer is no. The answer is no. It's okay. Okay, we gotta use our indoor voices. We gotta use our soft voices. We can't scare the baby. We can't scare the baby. Chauncey's like, what? I've never used an indoor voice a day in my life. Alright, Sissy Lala, you ready? We're gonna do some things. The anti-Slavka precaution, there's finally an inside lock in here. Slavka does want it all. She wants it all. She wants it now. Okay, this room is a clusterfuck. Oh my god. Thinking when the babies are mature enough, I might move her back downstairs. I don't know how I feel about them running around under all the furniture in here, but we'll figure it out. It's a learn as you go process. Alright, little sweet girl. Let's take everything out of here. And then, so my theory is that the other tent that I have that doesn't have the top, I'll just clip a blanket, like I said before, a binder clip a blanket to the top of it, like a sheet. And then I'll just stitch the doors, like, loosely together. But I'll take, it's this one out of here, move the carrier, and it should fit here. So I should be able to walk through here and just, like, kind of veer around to the back, so I'm next to everyone the whole time, but I can still get around there to lay down. I think that'll work. I think that's the plan. That's the plan, man. Slavka concurs. Hey, sweetie, we gotta move some things around. You did spill your water again, baby. Before I forget, I'm gonna grab a ceramic dish for a water bowl because she keeps knocking over the plastic one. She doesn't need to be all soaked. Excuse me. Excuse me. Slavka. Slavka. Munster is so not used to interacting with a baby, and Slavka is pissing him off so much. I feel bad, but like he kind of deserves it after all he yells at me for. I kind of feel bad, but like not really. Oh well. Hey, baby girls. Hey, baby girls. Hey, babies. Like, because the top unzips, then when she's like, when they're a little older and she's sick of nursing, she can jump out through there and I can open up the top of the other one. And then I won't have to open like the side door for this. So it doesn't matter if they're connected because I can open the top. I think I have this like down to a science. Except for the fact where the one I set up doesn't work. That's the fatal flaw. Hey, Mama Bear. Hey, Mama Bear. She's so cute. She's just existing. I'm proud of her. She isn't big yet. It's okay, babies. Originally, I had 3 thermal pads down too, and I think I'm just gonna put 2 down because I think she's laying in the litter box when she feels like too warm. I think that's her MO with that one. I don't know. Slavka, no. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just doing stupid stuff. It's okay, baby. It's okay. Alright, this one goes back to where it came. Back to which it came. Okay, Mama Bears. Slavka, fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. You can go everywhere but in here. Alright, baby girl. I forgot your tablet was reading on that. Here you go. Watch your kitties. Hi. It's a good girl. Oh, she ate a bunch of her food. Good job. Good job. She ate a bunch of her food. I'm going to put more down a little bit. Let me get her in a new spot. It's gonna be a little funny sounding. It's okay. It's okay. I know. Loud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's okay. I love that this one is taller. Okay. Not lining that one up yet. Not enough room in the room. There we go. Pillows blocking the furniture. Hi, mommies. Don't tell me this zipper is broken. It's okay. I'm just doing crazy lady stuff. And as long as I can get to the zipper from over here, there we go. These are totally not practical as like actual crates, but I so love that these have been invented. Fantastic. It's like a piece of ripped fabric or something. We don't want that. We don't want that. I'm gonna do one pad. One pad. Where's your litter box gonna go first? Let's think with our brains. Here. There. And there. Okay, and then the other one I'll like throw on top of everything and give her like a double choice. Potty pads. We're gonna get a new little birthing suite, baby. So I like want to give her the option to choose where she wants to have the babies. Like I know that's instinctual for them, but she can't like go and have them underneath the table. It's like we gotta do some crazy. The zoo is now a circus. We gotta do some crazy renovations here. Let's do one more in case she spills her water. I don't think she will with the ceramic dish, but so Cyogenics said the Mad Topher. I'm a cat doula now. Should we ask her if she wants like a well, she's obviously doing a home birth. Does she want a water birth or actually if she goes into labor during the day while my vet is open, I'm taking her into there so she can have the babies there. Cuz they'll give her like the equivalent to like an epidural and it'll help everything go a lot faster. And it's I would prefer to her be in a medically monitored environment if possible. But he said call her when she goes in or call him when she goes into labor, so I'm relieved for that. I never done this before. Like I told little mama on the way home from the vet here, I'm not treating you like a science experiment, sweetheart. But this is going to be a learning process for both of us. I'm sure it's the first, but it will not be the last birth that I end up dealing with, but we're going to be learning, and I'm going to be freaking the fuck out the whole time. Freaking out, man. Alright, there's your that. We're going to put your blankie over it, white, so we can tell when her mucus plug pops. You think that's gross, just wait till all the research we're gonna do tonight. I'm serious. If anyone needs to eat, do it now. if you're planning to do it in like an hour, do it now. If you're still gonna be watching. I don't know how gross or graphic anything we're going to research is, but it's birth, so it's all pretty gross and graphic. Eat, make other plans, do what you gotta do. Because it's gonna be yucky. You're not yucky. You're going through the magic of life. It's the magic of birth. It's beautiful, but it's yucky. Okay, let's put that in like the back corner. I feel like she'll want to go back, and then she can be like more forward or in the middle if she's too warm. Yeah, a mucus plug is just the beginning of gross. kind of halted your appetite. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I warned you guys yesterday. Alright, let's let that dry and then let her get used to the idea of it. Hi, baby girl. Hi, mamas. She's doing so good. She's just relaxing the best she can. She just chilling. She just chilling. Can you say hi to Club Colt? Can you say hellos? Say hellos. And don't go attacking me when we do all this fun stuff here, lady. It's okay. Please don't make a fool out of me. Hi. Hi. It's like forgetting to buy coffee. It's an unintentional caffeine break. Hearing the words mucus plug, it's an unintentional fast. It just all comes with the baby daddy territory. Love you, baby. You spilled your water again. That happened. Let me get your bowl set up over here. No, her eyes are so big. She's like a dragon. I mean, they do kind of look extra big because of the contrast. But she's a little baby dragon, little baby void. She's a little baby toothless. But I think calling her toothless would not be very adoptable. Although it would be really cute to have, like, how to train your dragon named kittens. But ultimately, it's up to the rescue what her name is going to be. I might be able to name the kittens. I don't know. As long as they're, like, themed with mom. That's usually what they like to do. Okay, your bowls and box are right by the door, so it's easy squeezy lemon peasy for me. Let that dry out for another minute. Little baby girl. Hi. Hi. She does have really big eyes, though. She's concerned. She knows we're about to do something, she just doesn't know yet what. She's gone through a lot. Today is her day. She hasn't even been off the street for a week. Today is day 6 off the streets, I think. You haven't even been an indoor kitty for a week. I'm very proud of her. She's making good progress. Constellation, black hole, moon. The one that has poop on its head, Uranus. I'm just being a jerk. I'm just being a jerk. You're gonna have cute babies. You're gonna have cute babies. You're a good girl. She's facing her ears more forward with me today too, which is cool. She's not like airplaning them back, which is a sign of discomfort. Although I'm sure I'm gonna set us back like at least 12 hours by switching her spot, but she needs to be able to stretch out. She wants to. It's okay, but this is better. Baby Void. What's it called now? Your rectum. Futurama is too good. It's too good. Do you want to watch some Futurama tonight? I think she likes the kitty TV. Do we? Stretch. She was pawing at it a little bit yesterday. Today she kind of ignored it. But she's watching it now. You're so cute. You're so cute. Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. If I forget, remind me when we get back in the stream room. Because yes, please. This couch is wonderful to sit on, but it's too hard to sleep on. Like, you get a good solid seat sitting, but sleeping, number one, it slopes back. So you're like, wee, doing a barrel roll. But it's just not comfortable to sleep on. And that's from someone who like sleeps on the floor, saying it's too hard. So I'm a bit sore, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sore from sleeping. It's better. You know what? That is better than sloping forward. You're absolutely right. What do you think, tiny one? Are you ready to try your new spot? It's all dry. You ready to try your new spot? All right. Here goes everything. Stand up and fight, tripod. Move this a little further back so I have some arm room. Ready, tiny one? It's definitely better than sloping forward, but it's awkward to sleep on. It's very awkward. Though I'm sure it's much more awkward for her to sleep while being pregnant, so I really can't bitch. Hi, baby girl. Hi, baby girl. Hi. Okay. Would it be easier just to do... Well, let's do your bowls this way. It's okay. I'll scoot your tablet a little bit. It's okay. I'll get you some fresh food in a minute. It's okay, Mama. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You give me 1 second, then I scoop you, okay? It's okay. You're a good girl. Not taking your food away forever, just for a sec. Doesn't matter, that's not. Fill her up some kibble. Get her some more wet food in a few minutes. It's absolutely remarkable, but it is pretty gross. I don't want to do it. It freaks me out. Honestly, I feel like childbirth would be pretty easy, for lack of better words, because I've experienced a decent amount of pain in my life. I don't think it would be too horrible. Like in perspective, I know childbirth is, yes, very painful, but I don't want your bones move. It just, everything changes about your body. That freaks me out. It just freaks me out. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I feel bad that she has to do it. For 3 of them. But that's why they call it the miracle of life, because it really is a miracle. But no, I cannot imagine growing a spawn inside of me either. For many reasons. I would say the uncomfortableness is probably like 2%. The other 98, well, the other 50% is dogs and cats, and then the other percentage is there's along with dogs and cats, there's too many kids that need homes too. I don't need to make more. I don't need to pass on these genes. Hi, baby girl. I don't think she'll try to jump out, but I might freak her out. Hi, baby girl. Hi. Oh, we got a bump. I'm gonna set back all of our progress. I'm sorry. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay. There you go. She rubbed her head up at me. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. She rubbed her head up at me. She did a burr. And then I scooped her up and put her in the other thing. I'm a fucking jerk. It's okay, babies. I just realized your litter box isn't in a very good spot. Let me fix that. Awkward entry. Awkward. There you go. Right, let me get you a fresh can. Fresh can with a shit ton of this. Because you're finally eating good. I guess we can see pretty good through the sides of this one, so that's awesome. I gotta reconfigure the camera for her. I'm gonna grab some wet food. Yay! She's not freaking out in there. That's good. That's a way bigger spot. I love that. I'm so glad I did that. Okay. Good choices. I'm second guessing everything that I'm doing because this is all new and I'm happy with that. That's a good. It's a good one. The boys are still Johnson pull it out. Okay. Hey, baby. Oh, you know what? Maybe she doesn't like the top open. I'm gonna put the sheet over the top of this one. And then I'll just peek up a corner for me at night. Did she go in the litter box? I get to hide. Hi. Yeah, you don't have to go in the litter box to hide, honey. You don't have to do that. You're confused. It is a little palace. She looks like she's glamping. And Slavka says hi. She's glamping. She's in the litter box. That's your safe place. That's a little gross, but that's okay. This is the same one, right? It's like more flaky. Mommy. Mommy, mommy. Hey, sweet girl. Hi. She's letting me do head rubs, but she doesn't want to come out of the litter box. Understandably, this is all new and different. Oy. So tomorrow, I'm gonna try and haul this one. Oh shoot. Sorry, babe. There we go. Haul this one out and around, and then get the other tent set up over here. And then move this out of the way so that there's space for it. The other one's a little smaller. It's okay, sweet girl. I didn't expect this one to be so big. I'm glad. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I gotta refix the camera for her. I want a palace. When's my birthday party? Slavka, you're a Christmas baby. You're Sagittarius like your mama. You're December 13th. Actually, that might make you a Capricorn. I don't remember. Oh, wait, no. My nephew's a Christmas baby. He's a Sagittarius. You're a Sagittarius, Slavka. I just need to be able to see in from the door. And I want to move this. I might just put it on top of here for now, and then I'll figure out how to delegate this. Oh, the fucking door. I wish the door was mesh for this. It's not. And when the shittens are born, I'll put a camera in both. But like this one, I can put a cardboard box in, no problem, if she wants to like choose that. That would be wonderful. Oh, this is the bad layout. This is stupid. It really can't just be a tiny bit longer. Well, let's stay up there for now. And does that even show what I need? This is very dumb, but it's also half cocked. It works for her for tonight. But it's not the ultimate setup yet. Not yet. It's okay, baby girl. Hey, mamas. Hey, mamas. Hi. You're so good. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I love you. I love you. I wonder actually. I'm sorry, babe. Okay, I have another camera too. I'm not gonna do it like this tonight, but eventually I'm gonna do 2 cameras overhead so I can see all the corners, because that does work like that. Yay. Oh my goodness. There we go. To baby girl. Right, this is all clean up tomorrow. You put your tablet over. Watch your kitties. Watch your kitties. I love you, baby. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'll probably take the top off of the covered litter box when she has the puppies. And I have a bunch of blankets at the ready. I have my heated blanket in the dryer right now. I have heating pads, I have thermal pads, I have extra blankets. We got kitten food on the way. She has kitten kibble dry right now. Hi, baby. Okay. Let's see if I can bring this over here. Good. Sorry, kid. Sorry. I try. I do not succeed. I throw things. I throw things. No. She's just vibing. Oh, we can't tilt that anymore. There we go. She's vibing in the box. She's vibing. Little peanut butter cup. Can I make this shorter? Oh yeah. Kitty in the box. It's a baby girl. It's okay. You can come out and eat. I know. You just got comfortable and I just disturbed your life and I'm sorry. That was so sweet. She rubbed up on me. You love me. You know I'm good. You know I'm people. You know I'm a kitty people. Oh, your blanket is over your food. What is wrong with me? I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, sweet love. There we go, mommy. There's a string in there. We don't want to eat that. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I love you. Slow blinks. It's gonna be okay, mamas. Thank you. I trust you. Do you trust me? I think we're going to do good, baby. You're okay, mommy. I know that was a lot. I'm sorry for making you do that. I'm very proud of you, though. I'm very proud of you, little boogie boo. Little boogie boo, I'm proud of you. I'm gonna let you settle, and we're gonna learn about how you're gonna pop out little shittens. Let's go. LFG. And put this in there, and then put the rest of your food in the fridge. Excuse me, honey. Self, cuz. You gotta scoot mommy. Meow. When did this crap out? The source is deselected and everything. Did someone control Z my computer? Voya? When did that poop out? The fuck? That's weird. Oh my god, fuck you, tripod, I'm done. It's really warm in that room because it has to stay at least 78 degrees. And can be no airflow. Excuse me. Excuse me! I'm dealing with like 30,000 things right now, darling. She's actually a hacker. I would believe it. I don't know when that tapped out, but Void was being cute. Oh, she's out. She's out. She's out of the box. She's exploring. Makes me happy. Good girl. Is he gonna eat some food? Is he gonna watch some TVs? Alright, we have slightly less of a visual of her in there. Like, we can still watch, but I'm gonna need to check for like her breathing and any kind of vocalization she's doing roughly on like an hourly basis while we're in here. Like, I know cats can do this on their own, but I'm insane. I'm just insane. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Slavka, hold on. Hold on. I'm getting everything together, babe. Aww. Slavka, don't do it. 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 Please. It's too wild. It's too wild. Aww. I hope she's okay with the sides being mesh. The first time I put Gunther in a pop-up carrier, he was kind of like wigged out by that. I don't think she'll try to mess with it though. I think it'll be okay. Pardon. Pardon. I'm going to put her, wow, holy fucking camera. Put her food in the fridge. And then we're gonna do some learnings. And then probably feed Ringo. I'm tired. Probably feed Ringo and stream until like 1 my time. And then I'll feed the rest of everybody after that. I'm kind of tripoded out too, I'm not gonna lie. I need to look for the next best version of that thing. I like it, I'm just over it. See, Lindsay doing good. She's doing something with her bowls. Good girl, mamas. I feel like a huge weight off of my shoulders with her being in there. Like, there was nothing terrible about the cage setup, but this is definitely better. It's a good upgrade. It's a very good upgrade. Children. 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 Boyan and Slavka are having words. Having words. Try to make the learning experience a little bit smaller and less graphic. Let's try for that. That's fine. I feel like she'll leave a better review with the spacier accommodations. Oh my goodness. She can make less of a mess too, so there's no cleanup fee. It's a good kitty Airbnb. That's really awesome that she's exploring it already. I'm proud. That's big progress. I feel so bad. She leaned into my pet. She wanted my pet. She loved my pet. And then I picked her up and I put her in the other carrier. Like, it's okay. Hopefully she'll bounce back from it pretty quick. It's okay. I wanted to put something from in there that smelled like her still. But everything in there is like, it's not dirty, but it needs to be cleaned. I think it'll be okay. Stop overthinking it. It'll be okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Oh god. I bought my cat a toy every day for 31 days. Welcome to Gunther and Voya's life. Oh my goodness. Oh. Slavka fell asleep from being naughty. This is adorable. Aww. See, saying hi, everybody. Thanks for caring about me. Thanks for being baby daddies. Aww. Nuke my coffee a little bit. better review with the spacier accommodation. Still giggling at that. Do you want out or in? What do you want? She doesn't know what she wants. That's okay. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.
Are you expecting
I like
kittens?
her channel
If
so
so,
far.
then keep
I
on
liked her
watching,
video
because
last
in
night.
today's video, I'm going to be showing you the exact at-home birthday
Good
kit that
good
I
starting
created
spot.
for all of
Fill my
clients.
Amazon cart with anything that I
So
need
let's
to.
get started.
Really, Nas should be filling my cart,
The very
but
first thing I prepare for my queen close
I don't
to the
think her
delivery
intake
date
will
is
be
a
at least
nest.
until
A
next
nest
week
can
or
be out of
depending
something as
when
simple
she
as a cardboard
pops
box or the bottom of a cat
after the
carrier.
babies.
However,
Hey,
I personally like
we
to
did
use
good
these pet tents
already.
as they are easy to clean, breathable for the queen, and accessible while also providing enough privacy.
GG's.
Now this isn't the exact birth
She
order that I
grooming?
used for the birth of the kittens.
so.
However, for the purpose of this video, I wanted to show you how I build out my nest for my queen so that she's
My
extremely
queen. I like how she says that. Like, I know a female cat is a queen, but oh, that one looks like the
So
size
what
of
I usually do
Pippi's.
is line the
That's
bottom
small.
with plastic garbage bags or any piece of plastic will do, and then I use these pads, which are actually
A little
puppy
too
training
late.
pads. You can literally just find them at the dollar store or on Amazon, but I like to put these over top. I like to make it super absorbent so that
I feel like she wouldn't like the crinkle of, like, a bag.
Throw it in the garbage
That'd be
and lay down
deterring.
some warm cotton blankets to keep the babies warm. Most of the warmth should be provided by the queen. However, I still like to ensure it is warm enough for those times when she takes a break. So I like to line a soft blanket at the bottom of the nest and then add a baby receiving blanket on top, as these are warm yet easy for the babies to move around. It's important
Baby
not to use
receiving
materials
blanket?
like
What's
terry
that?
cloth or towels, as kittens' nails can easily get stuck to these, and while you might be able to help them while you're awake, it could be an issue while you're sleeping. So the second thing you're gonna need is garbage bags. So this is pretty much self-explanatory. I use a big garbage bag to dispose of any soiled or dirty
I always
pads,
spell
and a
receiving
small
wrong.
garbage bag is always handy in the unfortunate event of any stillborns.
I'm scared
Next
for that.
is multiple pairs of medical gloves.
Have gloves.
I prefer to use latex free, but this just prevents any bacteria from
What are receiving blankets? Just like flannel blankets. Muslin? That's probably better than cotton. Coupon, $2 off.
and spreading to the babies should you need to intervene and help your queen with the umbilical cords. Next is thread or unflavored floss. Now this is for tying off the umbilical
We have
cords
thread
should
in
the queen
here.
not cut them herself with her teeth. You may also require a pair of
She's
blunt
had litters
scissors
before,
as
like
well,
you
so
can
just
tell
keep
by her
that handy,
nibs.
as well as some rubbing alcohol
So I
to
think
rub
she'll
and
know what to
disinfect
do.
the
I hope
scissors
she
if
knows
needed.
what to do.
So the next thing you're gonna
Might
need
as well
is an
learn.
umbilical cord antiseptic or disinfectant. So the one I like
don't
to use
plan on
is the Brussels
specifically
brand. It's
streaming
also
her
called
giving
Glory
birth.
Green antiseptic. But you
But
can
if
also
she
use
happens to
2%
do it while
tincture
we're
of
on
iodine
stream,
or diluted chlorhexidine to
LFG.
disinfect the umbilical cords, which I also like to apply using Q-tips. So the next thing you're
Then
gonna
we
wanna
have to use the
handy
shitty
is a
phone 'cause I have to be on the
rectal
phone with
thermometer
my
or a
vet.
digital thermometer. So this is handy to check temperature before birth. Some queens
I don't know if she's
conditions
gonna
may
let me
indicate
stick a
birth
thermometer up
delivery,
her
but
ass.
it can be unreliable. It's also helpful to check after the birth if there's any unusual signs resulting in an increase in temperature. You'll also want to have some tissues or some small hand towels handy. I use the tissues to help clean and dry babies'
towels.
airways, visiting the nose and inside the mouth. I like to use the small towels to perform a slow swinging technique to ensure no fluids remain in the baby's lungs and to further dry them off. Also,
Wipe out
some
their little
petroleum
nosies.
jelly or Vaseline. This is useful to lubricate the thermometer as well as to lubricate the queen's genitals should the labor between each kitten be long. Also, don't forget about a scale. This is important to weigh the
I don't
kittens
think I have
so
Vaseline.
that you can observe their weight gain day by day.
I do need a scale. I need a scale for
Lastly,
Ringo.
You really want to have something like a notepad or a phone handy where you can track exactly the time that your queen starts going into labor, as well as how far apart each kitten is born, and also emergency contacts.
I have a
think
notebook
that
ready.
is sometimes overlooked because we believe that cats never really have complications, but you never know, and it's good to have those contacts readily available in your phone. Should they go into labor in the middle of the night, you might need to go to an emergency hospital, so having that address and contact information and handy is really helpful. Now there's definitely a lot of other things to take into consideration, such as the temperature in the room, the humidity, as well as getting proper care for the queen after birth, and making sure she has sufficient food and water, but these are all things that I'll probably cover in another video. Now if you like this video, don't forget to like and also leave a comment below. I would love to hear, is your cat expecting kittens? Are you expecting kittens? If so, then keep on watching because in today's video
Okay, we're not there yet. Ready for some gross? Maybe. They suction kittens' mucus after birth. You know what? That's a good question. I need to ask my vet that. I know you do with puppies, with the little sucker. I don't know if kittens would be too small for it though, because like puppies when they're born, depending on the breed, usually like about the size of your hand, whereas like kittens they're like the size of little mice. Little mice.
My name is Kayla, and welcome back to my channel. Kitty Cat Soul Food is a place for you to better understand and strengthen.
So
your
maybe with like a
connection
medicine
to
dropper.
And in today's video, we're going to be going over the 3 stages of
That's a
cat
good
labor.
point.
Firstly though, I do have a quick disclaimer. This video is intended for educational purposes only. I realized that in my video, the 10 symptoms of cat labor, which I'll post here, I had a huge response from you guys that have pregnant cats or cats that are about to be in labor and you're just not exactly sure what to look out for, what to expect. And so I thought this video could go more in depth of visually really what the 3 stages look like. And hopefully by the end of this video, you can better understand what to look for when you're
Reminds me of Life is Strange.
and just honestly know what a healthy delivery looks like, because you need to honestly understand when you have a cat in labor that there are some things that could go wrong. And so watching this video will help educate you to make better decisions as to
She's
whether
figuring out
your cat may
she's
require medical attention or you might have to rush
Good
her to
girl.
the hospital in certain scenarios. So I really hope you find this video helpful, and let's get started.
Who is the prettiest in all the land?
Oh, these shittens are gonna be so goddamn
Who is the
cute.
prettiest in all the land? You are.
Please note that
gonna
all of the
destroy me.
symptoms seen in this stage were seen 33 hours before the birth of kittens. Timing
Alright.
will vary with
Well,
each
okay.
cat,
I'm
but
checking
this
out
is
the
just to give
sides.
you an idea.
What you doing,
The
girl?
first stage of cat labor can often pass unnoticed. However, most of the time it can be identified by the following behavioral changes in your queen: restlessness, over-grooming, pacing,
She's been grooming, but she hasn't really been
and in some
pacing
cases,
or being
vomiting.
vocal. But she really didn't have room to pace
During
before,
this time,
and
the
there I
cervix
can
dilates
watch her
and the
pace.
uterus starts contracting. This stage there is no
I saw the
visible
kittens
contraction,
move
so
earlier.
you may
She was laying kind of scrunched up, and I saw her belly rippling. It was cool.
start to see clear or brownish mucus vaginal discharge. At the end of this stage, the queen can be seen scratching around and settling in their birthing spot as they prepare to deliver the kittens.
That's about what her nips look like right now.
The second stage of cat labor is the most exciting and anxious of all. This is the stage when all of the kittens are delivered. Strong uterine contractions help deliver each kitten from its uterine horn into the uterine body and
Oh,
through the cervix
that's
and
very
vagina.
visual. Wow.
At this point,
You're
it
not
should
gonna
become
be able to miss
extremely
those
visible to the
signs.
eye. You may even hear grunting or meowing sounds from your queen, though some queens can be completely silent.
I feel so bad
This
she has
stage
to
can
go
last
through
anywhere
this.
from 2 hours to 24 to 36
That's so
hours.
much.
In this particular labor, Luna delivered
A little
3
gross,
kittens within
sorry,
2.5
but
hours. The delivery between each
helpful
kitten
to
can
know.
be instant or, from my experience, 30 minutes to 6 hours apart each.
Up to 6 hours apart.
The last stage of cat
That's a very
labor is
pretty
actually
cat.
in
I think that's a
combination with
Scottish
stage
fold,
2, and it is the delivery of the
but it
kitten's
doesn't look like it has the
placenta.
smushy
There should
ears.
be 1 placenta delivered for each kitten, and the mother should begin to bite the cord to detach
One
each kitten
placenta
from
for
their
each
placenta.
kitten, and then
It's
mommy should
completely
bite the
normal
cord.
if the queen wants to eat the placentas. However, in the event of a large litter, I usually don't let the queen eat them all as it can cause diarrhea.
If a kitten is delivered without a placenta and the mother does not deliver it within 24 hours, then I would seek out medical attention from your vet or an emergency hospital.
And those are the 3 stages of cat labor. Now, I have 1,000 subscribers, which is like beyond crazy to me. I never even thought I'd be going through people very much need, and they will be eager part, it wouldn't be right for me to. Are you expecting kittens? If so, then keep on. Are you expecting?
Just give me my main search. Thank you. Here's the scary one. That one I'll probably watch offline. That's gonna be pretty graphic. Let's do these two. And take a Counter-Strike break and feed Ringo.
Is your pregnant cat about to give birth?
Like, that's a
Make sure you
question.
feel prepared and able to support
Like,
her in a
will your cat
stress-free
let you?
birth with our simple guide. It's important to feel prepared and confident when the day arrives. If you choose to give birth at home, then there are many simple but important
I really
things
hope she
you can
does it
do to
during
make
the
sure
day
your
so
cat
that
is happy,
we can go to the vet
healthy,
for it.
and can give birth in a stress-free environment. 1. Prepare
I
your
want
home
to
for a
learn,
big
but I
day.
want to learn with
Ideally,
like
your pregnant cat should be able to
supervision.
have a room or space herself at the end of her pregnancy. Cats can become aggressive in the last 2 weeks of pregnancy, so isolate them and keep them out of reach of children. The room should be warm enough, about 22 degrees, to help her feel comfortable and reduce the risk of hyperthermia. The humidity should be between 65% to 70%.
Stop
You should
running the
create a nest box
dehumidifiers.
where your cat can give birth. This can be a cardboard box big enough to lie in and tall enough to prevent the kittens from falling. Cover with a newspaper, which can easily be removed if soiled, and then cover with a blanket or a towel. The nest
Probably
box
would have been a
should
good
be
idea
warmer
to
than the
put like
rest of the room to
plastic or
support
garbage
kittens
bags
during
down,
the first
but
day of their life.
it's
An
already done.
infrared lamp is a good way to do this, as
We
it
can
does
do it in
not
the other tent
directly
if I
heat
feel like
very
it's a good
strongly
idea.
in one area and should be set at 30 degrees. 2.
I have a space
Instructions
heater
to
in there for
understand
her.
when your cat's delivery begins. You may not notice the early stages of your cat's birth as there are no visible contractions. Instead, it will look restless and display strange behavior, such as following or avoiding you constantly. She will also be very expressive and will often
It's like if she
take
has
too
room
much
to move
care of
around
herself.
like she does in
When
there,
your
then
cat
I'll
is
be able to
almost
tell
ready
better.
give birth, she will scrape and fit into the nest box and start a
Yeah, I
loud
got freaked out earlier because she laid with her legs just a little bit apart instead of like tucked together. I'm like, are you just gonna shit them out right there? Like, is this it?
As soon as you notice a reddish discharge, it won't be long before the first kittens and their placenta appears, usually in less than
It's
an
like
hour.
their water
During birth,
breaking,
your cat will
their
cry
mucus
and
plug.
sound anxious, and that's perfectly normal. You are expected to see kittens every 10 to 60 minutes, and most likely your cat will eat the placenta and chew the umbilical cords of the young kittens. If it is 2 hours after you have located the excretion and there is no sign of newborns, contact a veterinarian.
Worst case scenario,
who
we
may
can
be
also
able
go to
to
the
assist in
emergency vet.
childbirth. Cats
Or
are very
24
good at taking
hours.
care of themselves during childbirth, so try to avoid bothering them. Checking in every 15 minutes is ideal. If she feels anxious in any way, she will interrupt her birth and prevent birth for hours or even days. 3. Remember, a
Aw.
home birth for your pregnant cat can help her feel relaxed and stress-free, giving her kittens the best start in their lives.
Is that
You're not
her
sure
or the
if you
video?
have her home properly prepared. Hey, Mama. Hey, Mamas. Hey, Mama. Good girl.
Sokka, be nice to Monster. Oh my god. He's an old man. He doesn't want you bum rushing him. That was her talking. I think maybe she doesn't want to be alone.
Ask your vet for advice. Now, if you enjoyed this video,
Figure out
please
what to do in a
support us by
minute.
subscribing
See what
to our YouTube
she
channel.
wants, she
And
feels.
make sure you follow us on Instagram. We post videos.
That's what I kind of
we're
decided
active on
after
Instagram on a
I
daily
realized that
basis.
she wasn't
So don't miss out.
showing any other signs of being in labor. Is that it probably is just more comfortable. Like, she has bowling ball belly. It being smooshed up like this with, you know, a Thanksgiving feast and then some inside of you. It probably is more comfortable to sit spread or to lay spread.
Are those your babies? You love
Aw.
them?
Oh,
I'm gonna
That's
die
pretty
of cuteness during
Hey
this.
everyone, and if you're watching this as it comes out, Happy New Year. I am currently fostering this beautiful, friendly mama cat and her 4 babies. So I have Mama Firework,
Aw.
Sparkler, Party Hat,
See, they're all little themed
and
names.
Lovely. Caring for a feline family is so rewarding. So today I am going to be sharing with you my top 3 tips for caring for a mama cat and her babies. First things first, make sure you have a proper setup. When you're caring for mom and babies, you don't want them to have free access to your house. You don't want mama to be able to move from room to room where she might be tempted to hide her babies in your closet or in your pantry. You want them
That's
to
not
be
cute.
in one confined space. Think something like a guest room or a laundry room or even a bathroom. You should create a safe and inviting nesting
She can't have the
box
babies
for
on
mama
the hard
in
floor,
corner of
'cause
the room. Cats tend to
they'll
feel
die in
safest
5
a corner,
minutes.
and mom cats in particular love
That's why I
being
moved her
covered.
upstairs.
So
The hard
I
floor is cold.
find something like this
So if she
that
was
is
scared and she was
nesting
like
box
hiding behind the
that's
toilet and that's
covered
where she
and
decided to give
in the
birth, the
corner
babies
of
would be
the
dead
room.
in 5
Mama
minutes.
cats tend to be pretty happy with a setup like this, so they're not going to be
We're not
searching
gonna
for
do
somewhere
that.
else to bring their babies. In the bottom of
Upstairs.
the kennel, I'll just put a light layer of blankets, and then on top I'll put a large blanket. And if the mama is
No one's
feeling
putting heating
stressed
pads down,
out,
which I'm
you can just
surprised, but I
partially
guess
or fully cover her with the blanket.
we'll
In
just
whatever
kind of
space
see
you
what the
choose,
best
you wanna make
idea
sure that
is.
they have minimal access to items
Oh, I
that
think
can
she
be
is
harmful
feeling
to them.
lonely.
Mama cats are looking for somewhere safe to hide away with their babies. So sometimes
You're
that's
breaking
going
my
to
heart,
involve
Mama.
a mom trying
You're being
to
lonesome.
climb a 10-foot bookshelf with a baby in her mouth. Sometimes they might try to burrow into a pull-out couch and hide their babies underneath it, but that could be dangerous for them too. So just be mindful of furniture items that are in the room and reducing access to them. You also want to think about the kinds of cat bedding that you're giving them. There are some wonderfully fluffy beds that you can get, but you don't want to get
Excuse
anything
me.
with deep crevices where a baby can get stuck and suffocate.
There's nothing like
You
that
want
in there.
everything to be pretty flat and smooth. I also don't recommend using small hideaway beds with mama. You want her to have enough space to really stretch out, be able to nurse her babies.
Oh,
be
like
able
the
to have
acorn.
Everybody in there comfortably. It's important too that you keep the mom and babies away from other animals. So even if you have a very friendly dog or cat in your house,
No
please
bugging
do
on
not have
mamas.
them in the same space as the mama and her babies. It'll keep the babies physically safer. It will keep the mama less stressed so she can focus on caring for them. And it will reduce the risk of disease spread. Obviously, mama is going to need some other things too. So in an adjacent corner, you can go ahead and put her litter box. I recommend using a nice large litter box that's a little bit shallow so that once the babies are ready to start going to the bathroom on their own, they can actually get into it. And then of course, she's
Maybe
going
I
to
should
need
put
an
the other
area for
box
her
in there
food and water.
instead of
Please
the
make sure
covered
that
one.
when you have tiny babies, you are not putting a deep dish of water in the room.
Or at
You
least
just
take
want
the
to
top
have a
off of the
nice
cover.
shallow dish of fresh
The
water.
covered one.
Something I really like
Probably
about
take the
this
top off
setup
of it.
is
Then
that
she's
not
not like
only
trying to
spend
wiggle
most of
through
her
it.
time with her babies, but that she can also come out and walk around.
Maybe I'll just put the other
stretch
box.
her
I don't know.
legs,
I'm probably gonna
use
do
the litter
something
box,
different with the litter
get some
boxes.
snacks, and
Buy
with
some
some
kitty
lemon.
TV.
Oh, this one loves lemon. You are the sweetest mama cat in history.
Aww.
One last thing to consider is the temperature in the room. Nearly
Orange
kittens
kitty too.
cannot thermoregulate, so they rely on heat from their mama's body and from the environmental temperature. So unless the room is quite warm, you want to make sure they have access to an external heat source, something like a heat pad. My second tip is to make sure that you know how to monitor the kitten's health. A lot of people assume that mama cat can do everything for her babies and that you don't really
You get a
look at her
scale to
baby.
be able to weigh
And
them.
while that's often food, mama can feed her babies and help them grow into strong, robust kittens. Sometimes that's not the case. You won't really know how your kittens are doing unless you are monitoring them every single day. So one thing you need to do is make sure that you are weighing your kittens at least twice a day using a gram scale. Make sure that you write down the weight so that you can monitor if their weight is going up or if it's going down. If their weight is going down, you need to be prepared to intervene with supplemental feeding. Of course, as long as their weight is going up throughout the day, that's not going to be necessary.
I have a little notebook
But if
together
their
for them
weight is
already.
going down for more than 2 or 3 feedings, you will need to intervene. While you're weighing the kittens, you want to visually inspect them. You want to see, do they have any kinds of wounds? Do they have any fleas or visible parasites? Do they have any
I get a
discharge?
buzzing.
How do they look?
Ha, ha,
It's
ha,
important
ha,
to know
ha.
that these babies can and should receive medical care if something is going on. For instance, these
loud.
kittens had horrible fleas when they came, so we had to treat both the babies and the mom. So at least twice a day, I recommend that you are weighing your kittens and checking on them physically. This is also a good opportunity for the kittens to get hands-on time with humans, so that they will be nice and sweet and social when they get older. Make sure that you talk with your vet if you're concerned about their health, and please talk to your vet before giving any kind of over-the-counter medication to the babies or to mom. And finally, I do recommend, if you're able, to have some kind of baby monitor or like security camera.
Why are you
so that
being
can monitor
stupid?
what's going on. This gives me a lot of peace of mind. So
It
I can check
died.
Even if I'm not right there with them.
I just
And
changed the
it's
batteries in
easier
this.
to monitor
Oh wait,
what
no.
she's doing throughout
Oh,
the
it's
day.
breaking.
Fortunately, this mama has been an absolute angel so far, and she loves it in her nesting box. My third tip is to make sure that you are taking great care of mama. Mom cats do a ton of work.
I can only push on it to make it work with my finger. I can't.
Make sure that the mom cat has ample amounts of food and that she is eating a kitten food. I like to give access to both wet and dry and make sure it's a high quality.
Oh, what a
kitten food
fucking
because
cock
that
to
is
use.
more rich in protein or fat, which she's gonna need for keeping
Rip
full
indeed.
instead. Make sure that you are giving her
The
enough
push
water
mechanism must be
at
broken.
least 3 times a day for the duration of her
Or
time.
my shoulders are too bony or something. I don't know. Oh, no, now it's working.
Taking a look at the belly and making sure that everything
Roll
is
doesn't like me
nice and
today.
healthy. Sometimes mama cats can have a bacterial infection of the milk ducts called mastitis. Mastitis happens when their mammary glands are inflamed and it blocks milk production. You might notice that their teeth feel hot to the touch.
Oh my god, you're more
They may
stressed
be
than you're worth right now.
swollen, firm,
But thank you
even
so
look
much.
like there's some bruising. If you think
It's the
mama
thought
cat
that
might have
counts. It's the
mastitis,
effort that
please
counts.
treat it like an emergency. Make sure that you are providing supplemental feeding to the babies while they're not able to nurse, and make sure you're taking
Where's-
her into the
my shoulders are
veterinarian
blue
to
balls.
see if she needs an antibiotic.
I was ready
Of
for
course,
more.
there are any number of other veterinary issues that can come up
Oh.
for mama cats, so make sure that you are addressing
rude.
those promptly with a vet.
I mean, to
And
be fair, that
finally,
thing is probably
just
like at
you're
least
going to
15,
be
20 years
spaying and
old, so
neutering the babies,
had to
make
break
sure
at
you
some
have
point.
an appointment to spay the mom too. Motherhood might be sweet to observe, but we do not need these mama cats having
Don't need
litter
more
after
babies in the
litter
world.
after litter. While we're still living in a world where there are so many kittens being born year after year after year and not enough resources to save them, there's really no excuse for allowing a cat to keep having kittens. Spaying the mother cat is going to be better for her health, for her happiness, and for the betterment of all kitten kind. I hope that this video was helpful to you, and I wish you the best of luck on your fostering journey. Remember, if you are fostering a feral
Thanks.
mom
We need
baby,
it.
I do have a video on that subject, and you can watch
Oh,
that
okay.
for more
Let's
tips
check this
on
out if she
fostering
gets
moms
mad.
who are a little bit less social than viral. Hey everyone, I'm sitting here with my new foster kittens. It's a litter of 5 babies and they're very feral mom. Things you should know about taking care of a feral mama and her babies.
I think she's feeling a little lonely and wants some help integrating. So when this is done, we'll probably hop off for the night.
They were in really rough shape. They were only about 24 hours old, but they were scattered
I don't want her to stress being
covered in
alone.
fleas and fly eggs. I have a
Aww.
whole video all about taking
Little
them in
baby
and
shittens.
those issues they had with the fleas and the flies, so you can watch that if you'd like. But the point is, they came here as orphans, and they were in such bad shape, you could assume that they didn't have a mom.
Super Cat Doula away.
that had been trapping cats in the
She's
neighborhood.
talking. I don't know if she's
They had
lonely or if
been
it's like
forced to stay, and
approaching go
on the
time.
day the kittens were found, they also trapped 20 cats, but they didn't know if one
Oh, it's a
was
baby
mom
Gunther.
or not.
Oh,
On the
it's a
next day,
baby
when those
Gunther.
cats
It's a
went
baby
to the clinic
Gunther.
for
It's a
spay
baby
and neuter,
Gunther.
they were able to
It's a
identify
baby
that
Gunther.
one of the cats was postpartum. That meant we were able to try to reunite the kittens.
It's a baby Gunther. I think that's a mom cat, but it's a baby Gunther. It's a baby Gunther.
Another example is that recently I found 4 kittens underneath a radiator
Oh
in
my
labor,
goodness.
and I was able to catch the mom using a humane trap and reunite
so
those
cute.
babies together.
Babies are gonna get adopted in no time. She'll probably take some time, because one, we gotta work on socialization, and two, she's grown.
She looks just like her baby.
But,
Look at her and her baby. They look
Very similar.
aw, they're twins.
So if you find a kitten outside,
They're so cute.
you do want to see if you can find the mama and reunite them. I have a video all about
I was saying
trapping
something and I don't
feral
even know what I
moms
was
using
saying.
the kittens
I got
as
distracted by
bait. So you can
babies.
watch that video
Oh,
to
that
learn all
exactly.
about
The
how
babies
to
will get
find
adopted
your
right away.
mom,
They're cute.
lure her into
Everyone
your
wants a
trap
baby.
using the kittens, and then safely take them all into foster care.
Well,
So
they're
it's
just
fun
efficient.
for everybody involved.
That's all.
It's better for the
It's
kittens to get
efficient.
to have that wonderful nutrition from their mom.
It's a good observation, though. Very, very astute.
It's great for the mama.
It's a
to be able
baby
to
Gunther.
care
Oh
for
my
babies
god.
as she
It's a
naturally
little
would.
mama
And
Gunther.
it's so much better for you.
So
because
cute.
You don't have to do the middle of the night feedings and all of the work.
She does her braids better than I do.
Mama takes care of the babies. The second thing I want you to know is yes, mom cats can still lactate. even
Which
after
we've
they've been
learned
spayed.
with
If you
Slavka.
have a community cat, you're not necessarily going
Those
to
are big
know if
litters.
they're lactating until
I'm
they're
really
actually
glad I opted
spayed.
for the x-ray to find out how many puppies were in there. It's good to know that there's 3, because my neighbor was, she kept saying over and over and over again, like, what if there's 8 or 9 kittens in there? I'm just like, stop, stop, stop. Like, don't fucking jinx it.
So the vet will proceed with the spay.
Certainly possible there's 4, but there's definitely 3.
Try to reunite them. If you don't have the kittens yet, then you want to go outside and see if you can locate those kittens. And if you can't, you do want to return that mom as soon as she's bright and alert after surgery.
Excuse me.
So she can return to her babies. Now, once mama is reunited with
God,
her
she's
babies,
so
she
cute.
still will lactate even though
so
she's
cute.
just been spayed. This is a really common concern people have, so I want to reassure you, mom cats absolutely can still lactate even
Didn't know
after
that.
they've had their sterilization surgery.
I didn't
And
know
the
that.
incisions that they do on these cats are so small, especially when they're done at a TNR clinic, you're going to find that there's very low risk for infection. But of course, it is a good thing to keep an eye on any spay incision that's done
Her
whether
little
it's a
nose
feral
booger
mom
is so cute.
or on your foster kitten. Now, of course, if you have a feral mama who has not yet been spayed, don't worry about bringing her in for spay in a rush. You want to bring her in once the kittens are around 5 weeks old and weaned. The third thing you need to
Once
know
they're not
is how to
always
have a
on milk
proper
anymore.
setup for a feral mom and babies. If your cat's feral, trust me, you don't want to just set her loose in your house. She's gonna run around and climb into the ceiling and find places you didn't even know existed. So we
I
want
wouldn't
to
consider her
love-
feral,
In general, I like to use a big dog kennel. This one is
but at
for
the
an
same
extra
time,
large dog.
I feel like if she had the run of the room, she would have them under the couch or something.
Inside, you can put a nesting
And that's not a
box,
good
which should
choice.
be a half-covered area where the
I
mom
never
will
considered I could do a
build
sideways
it,
box, so I was
also
gonna
when
do
she has a good view of the
hot
rest of the
box.
area. Honestly, I prefer
Sideways
something
box
as
would be
simple
good.
as a cardboard box for this.
There's little like common sense things that just don't occur to me, or like I don't think
She'll feel that this is a suitable place to take care of her.
laterally
And
enough.
of course, you also want to have a nice sized litter box for mama. You also
why I
want
like
to put out
YouTube.
fresh water and a generous amount of kitten food. Mama cats need to eat large amounts of food, and they
So she
do
hasn't
so
eaten much the last couple days too, but she's also had a upper respiratory
and it's
infection.
perfect for helping lactating cats.
And she ate a good amount of her wet food earlier. Hopefully she eats a good amount of it
Give her as much
tonight.
food as she wants. When it comes to water, please note that you do want to use a really shallow dish. Neonatal kittens are not very coordinated, and if they do squirm over and fall into a very deep dish of water, that could be dangerous for them. So use a shallow dish and just
Might
refill
have
it
to do
often.
a different
And
dish.
try to keep it away from the baby's face. Most importantly, you want to be able to cover the
I don't know, we'll see.
entire kennel and blanket. Visual stimuli is really stressful for a feral mama, and the best thing you can possibly do for them is cover the kennel so they can focus on their own little zone. Do everything you can to make it a calm environment.
And something I've enjoyed about the Taskmaster show is seeing how different people think. It amazes me what other people can come up with. It's like, how does your brain think like that?
The presence of dogs or cats or
What
even
God
dogs
gifted you that?
is going to be upsetting to them, and they're not as likely to take good care of their babies. So let's just keep it nice and calm.
Nice
One
and
thing you should
calm.
know is it can take 24 to 48 hours for a feral mom to accept her young.
Are you gonna accept your babies? Let's see if we got the right mama, okay? Look, that's a baby. Is that one yours?
I don't think this will be a problem.
Guys? Are those your babies?
Like, we wanted to reintroduce them.
Don't panic if you reintroduce
She could
mom
reject them and
babies
just ignore them right away, and then I'll have to intervene.
It's a really
I'm nervous about that, but I don't think that's very likely. I don't think this is her first litter at all.
Why am I in a cage? What is this place? Why am I taken away from the place that I'm comfortable? Am I safe? Am I going to
Listening
be
to
able
all
care
of
for myself?
Mama's
Do
thoughts
I
right
have
now.
food? The cat is not thinking about the babies. And I want to emphasize that doesn't mean that they're not a good mama cat. I think sometimes we look at cats through this like anthropocentric lens where we're thinking about what we would do if we were them. But we have to remember humans and cats have very different reproductive patterns. As a species, humans typically give birth to one baby at a time, and we have a long gestation period of 9 months. Cats have short gestation
Like
periods
62
of
days, I
about 2
think.
months, and they have large litter sizes of 6 or 7 or 8. So they have a lot of babies throughout their lifetime. And as a species, they've evolved not just to take care of this one precious baby. They have evolved instead to have these large litter sizes where many of them are not going to survive. And so you have to get into the mentality of a cat. They're not thinking of, I have to protect this one
It's
precious
difficult
baby.
to emotionally prepare for it too. It's like statistically only half the litter
I
survives.
also want to clarify there's a difference between rejecting a baby and being aggressive towards a baby. If you reintroduce a
Kitty has
mama
tipped
and her
ears,
babies
and that's
she's
supposed to mean
showing
fixed.
violent or aggressive behavior
She
towards that baby,
Unfortunately, cats get
then
into
yes,
fights
you
where
want
often
to
it looks like their ear is
reintroduce the mom
tipped.
and not put
That
the
could have
baby
happened to
in
her.
control. But that's pretty rare. Most of the time, cats are just gonna like ignore the baby for the first little bit. When Mama Tum Tum first came
It could be
here,
that
she
they
was
just
like,
trapped her and
"Mommy's baby?
tipped her ear but didn't
Why
spay
are
her
you
yet.
here? Like, what
Because
are
she's
you
in with the
doing?
shittens, and they'd have to be like only 3 weeks old there.
Far away
That's a
from
big poop.
babies and, hid her head and was just like grumbly.
Her ear is
So,
tipped though,
of
you're
course
right.
She was tense. She'd just had surgery. She'd just been taken off the street.
Oh, she just had
didn't know what
surgery,
was
so
going
maybe
on.
she did get
When a
spayed
cat
right
is
away.
really tense, she's gonna sit upright and guard her belly. And that means the
I think she
kitten
said
can
something about
access
finding the
both
mama and kittens in separate spaces, so.
You can lay down and nurse those babies.
And they were just bottle feeding the kittens, so she must have gotten spayed and
She
tipped.
will lay on her side, and that gives the
Because that is part of TNR, is the ear tipping.
and find a nipple. Once the kittens start
Trap,
nursing,
neuter, return.
something really magical happens.
And then you have the visual
mama's
marker.
brain starts to release oxytocin, which
Then
is
for the girls, a lot of the times they'll do a green tattoo on their tummy as well. Because like with the boys, it's a little obvious, like there's no fuzzy balls.
first couple of days they might go from
With the girls, they'll do a little green tattoo on their
to
tummy.
willingly participating in mothering to just absolutely adoring their babies. So my advice
Aw.
is give it some time, create
I don't love her
that lovely,
baby.
calm environment. And hey, if after 72 hours she's like, listen, I just don't want to be a mom, that's okay. You can get her spayed, you can return her to the home she knows, and you can raise the babies on bottle. But I would give her up to those 72 hours to have the opportunity to try. My fifth piece of advice is extremely important, and that is you need to monitor and supplement the babies during this transition. It's extremely important that you're monitoring your babies so that you know they're getting
The girls form a cat gang since they've got matching colors.
watch them and see if they are nursing.
She did have a pretty remarkable litter that looks a lot like her. Mom's genes were strong for this one. Not the case with Charlie. Charlie's babies look nothing like her.
If they were an orphan.
Okay. This baby is Calais.
Like, it's so weird. It's just the luck of the genetic draw.
108.
I don't think there's any coloration of cats that's like
Blue is 106.
dominant. Like if the mom is this color, it's always going to be
No,
like
you don't
this.
like orange.
Or certain cats and horses, it tends to be like that.
This is how often I would be weighing and feeding my babies if they didn't have a mom at all. What I would do with a feral
reveal that info.
25% at first. This is gonna give
Genes
you
are
the
fascinating.
hunger
Cat
and
coloration is well,
hunger,
animal
but
coloration in
not so
general
long
is
as when
fascinating
they're
too.
starving.
They only have the colors that they do because their DNA decided the printer ink ran out on the white parts. Hold on, babies.
Or hypoglycemic if they're not getting enough sustenance. So for instance, with these babies, instead of weighing them every
You
2
coming in?
hours, I weigh them every 2.5 hours.
Crazy.
And if their weight
Crazy
is going
baby.
up, I know I don't need to supplement with a
Weigh them
bottle.
every
If
two and a
it's
half
steady,
hours.
then I want to keep monitoring for another feeding or 2. If their weight has dropped,
This is gonna be
then
a lot.
I know I need to supplement with
Not
a
complaining, I'm
bottle.
ready to take it on, but I'm just acknowledging this is gonna be a lot. Oh, look at the little toe
And
beans.
it's possible she's not
Look at those toe beans. Look at those toe beans.
So you're going to give her a chance to start having increased milk production. With these babies, it took about 4 or 5
Babies
days
are so
with
cute.
mama before they didn't need any supplementing at all.
Slavka,
So I went from
don't
taking
chew
them
on the
every
door.
2.5
Slavka.
hours to every 3 hours. I just go in there, weigh
Goodness
them,
golly.
make sure everything looks a-okay. So, you know, a mom cat will typically lick her young to help them go potty, but
I had to do that with Munster. You gotta stimulate their pee-pee and their bowels. Mom just licks them there, and that helps them go to the bathroom. But if you're doing it yourself, you gotta get like a wet rag. Give them a little rub. I had to do that probably the first week and a half that I had Munster. And then he was able to go potty on his own. Munster was so little, he was the size of my hand. He's just a little shitten.
The sixth thing you need to know is how to safely handle the kitten
Just a spatula.
and the mom if mom is feral. Remember, socialization is a spectrum. There are cats way on the feral end of the spectrum. And
I do
there
need
are
to be
feral
prepared
ends.
for her to be mean with
Right
me
now,
with the
we're
kittens,
talking
though.
about
She
cats
might
who
be.
are a little bit more on the
She
feral
might not want me to touch them.
If mama is growling at you, hissing at
Is she
you,
mad? Because I don't want her to lash out at me because she might hit one of the kittens in the meantime.
inside your head. If she's staring at you and making lips. If she's doing jump scares at you.
She's good at being a cat. Oops.
These are all signs that the mom is feral. And feral is okay. It's more than okay. Feral is beautiful. We love
Feral is beautiful. We gotta tell that to Tank.
are strong, sassy, independent ladies who do not need no human to take care of them. Except that they do kind of need help with, you know, like opening the cans of food and like if you could scoop their litter, that would be great.
She's funny.
Yeah, you know, there is some care involved, so you have to be able to get in there and handle the situation. So how are we going to do this safely? If you're doing a lot of work with feral cats, I recommend getting a
It's the
feral
Gunther
den.
box.
Feral den is an awesome piece of equipment. It has a sliding door on the front, so you can
The
easily
box that
fix
Gunther
it
was
up
in when I met
in and
him,
out of
and
the
we
kennel.
donated one
It's
for
down
our
against the side of the kennel
CACC
so that you can get in
donations
there and clean. They just make
around
it
Christmas
really
time
easy
this
to
year.
use. But if you don't have a
Last
feral
year,
den,
technically.
that's okay. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't use them. With this
They look
mom,
so
I was
sad, though.
in the trap and she walked into the nesting box, but she had also just had surgery. I knew she was a little bit groggy and not much of a
Loopy
flight risk.
baby.
If you need to get in there and clean, it's usually pretty easy to do safely. Feral cats are not typically aggressors. They're not going out and looking to start a fight.
They're more
They
afraid than
are
anything.
avoidant, which means they're only gonna lash
That's
out
your
if
Tank,
it's
where like
harmed.
you get
So what
overstimmy
you
and
wanna
then
do if you're cleaning in there is only clean the spot that she's not in. If she's over there with her babies, then you can go in and scoop the litter and change the food and sweep. Or if she's in the litter box or eating food, now's your chance to go into nesting box and change out the blankets. Every
Okay.
cat's different and every situation's different. So if you want to be totally sure you're being safe, then definitely grab a feral den. Or
So
instead
really,
use
I
a
want to be
feral
like
den
an
to use
extension of her
now,
when
what about
she's
handling
doing
the babies?
something.
Well,
I don't want to
moms
interrupt her
are
while she's doing anything.
extremely protective of her young, as most feral moms are once they've accepted their babies. So I use my patented
When she gets up to do her
spatula
own thing
technique,
is when
which
I
seems
can
to work
do
very well
things.
for me.
But when she's doing it, she's doing it. You're crazy. You're unhinged. I love you. You're my tiny demon. That was a big little
I use
yawn.
a spatula to scoop up the babies
Aw.
because it makes it a little bit
was like, what the hell, lady?
What do if mama needs medical attention? What if mama is sick or needs an antibiotic? Are you going to be able to get in there and give her an oral medication in her mouth? No, if it's a really feral cat, it's unlikely you'll be able to do that. Since you're not able to catch the
Face
cat,
is
it
so
can
funny.
be a little bit of a challenge to give them treatments, but it's not impossible. If it is a non-urgent medical issue, I recommend waiting until the kittens are weaned. So then you can take mama in for her spay, she can get vaccinated, she can get any other medical issues she has addressed. But of course, if it's an urgent medical issue, put her in a trap, bring her to a clinic,
Honey.
and treat feral cat. There are all sorts of things that vets can do, like injectable antibiotics, things that don't require continued handling of that feral cat. In terms of treating for fleas, Mama Tum Tum was actually treated when she was spayed, but if you have a cat who has really bad fleas and she's not being spayed yet, something you can do is Capstar. Capstar is a pill you can break up into the food, and the mom can eat the food and get the flea treatment. Of course, you want to talk to a vet anytime
You
there
open
is
that door,
medication,
strong girl.
especially to a lactating
Yeah, you
cat,
can do it.
because not all medications are going to be safe for the babies if a cat is lactating.
She needs some
Here.
help
The
adjusting.
eighth thing you need to know is taming a feral mom is not the goal of fostering a feral mama with babies. This is definitely the number one question I get. Are you gonna tame the mom? Is the mom gonna
I mean,
be
she's certainly
friendly?
not feral.
Are you gonna adopt the mom out?
But she might have
Listen,
feral
I get it.
tendencies.
I know you love your cat and you want every single
find
cat in
out.
the world to experience the feeling of being a friendly cat on the couch.
Not everyone can be
snuggling
Tank,
against someone.
unfortunately.
But guess what? Not every cat wants that. A huge number of cats in the United States are community cats and feral cats. These cats, they don't really want to be in your house. It is never my goal to tame an adult feral cat, and I'll tell you why. The socialization window is most open between 0 and 12 weeks of age. After 12 weeks, that
My royal
window
baby.
starts
Royal
rapidly
baby
closing.
Tank. Imagine how
Not
cute
only
Tank was as a
impossible to
kid.
socialize an adult feral cat, it depends on the cat.
I bet he was the cutest little fluffiest
Every
thing.
single time I post something about a feral cat, I get comments like, well, I took in a feral cat, and 3 years later, I can finally touch her on the head. Well, that's
It's
very
like every
nice,
Reddit
but
thread that I read.
don't have 3 years to give every single feral cat that I encounter an opportunity to maybe want to be touched on the head someday. Nor do I think it's particularly ethical for me to try to do so. When we bring these cats inside, we are trying.
But he walked around like he owned the place. I'm sure he ran the neighborhood for a good number of years. A king and his queen, like Harley and the Joker.
They genuinely can't wait to go back home. From an organizational standpoint, it's also not a good use of resources. Every time I say that I'm going to be returning a feral cat to her colony, someone in the comments says, well, I follow an organization that socializes those cats. Well, it's true. There are some organizations that decide to put their resources towards that. But I can tell you, most organizations who are located in the southern part of the United States,
She just
that is
being
not our
lovey.
goal at all.
Gunther.
We have a constant influx of cats and kittens pouring into our shelter system. And it is absolutely overwhelming. to
Look at those
shelter,
cheeks.
rescue,
The big tomcat
foster
cheeks.
volunteers.
It's
All
your
of us
babies.
need to be
Oh my God.
prioritizing very carefully.
Oh my
In
God.
order to be strategic, we need to be putting our resources into saving those cats
Okay,
who
stop.
truly do not have another place to go. The shelter doesn't need more cats. Rescue groups don't need more cats. I don't need more cats. There's not even enough adopters for all of the cats that we already have. So going around and trying to scoop up every feral cat and turn them into an adoptable feline is definitely not the goal of progressive, forward-thinking animal welfare in the United States. You see, a cat like Mama Tum Tum has a place to go because she's from a colony. It always cracks me up when people are like,
They do have established social bonds in colonies, number one and number two. An established colony stops the clouder effect from happening,
So she's returned. She's not just like released.
and that's
she's
very important.
returned to the home she knows. And I can tell you for her, she's from a.
But it's also very important to spay and neuter everyone in the established colonies so they're not multiplying.
Cats outside. She's got a home. She's
Then you
from
don't
the
continue with the
outdoors.
clouder
She doesn't
effect.
wanna be inside. Now, if your feral mama really, for some reason,
It's difficult for colonies though because people see like a place where there's a bunch of cats and they'll just dump their cats there. And then you just constantly end up with more babies, more babies, more babies.
Into a barn home, so you can watch that for some advice. But
It's rough.
please stop
There's like no good answer except for going back in time and like making better choices.
It's not just
It sucks.
scary for the cat
People do
and
suck.
bad use of our resources, but in some cases,
That's why we have
it is
cats.
a killer to these cats because a lot of these cats really truly never will warm up. And now you've got a cat you can't return and you can't adopt.
We're
out.
very
What
lucky
are you
with
gonna
Tank.
do then? Please
But
don't.
Tank was his
Respect
own
the
volition.
feral in the feral cat. Or the ninth thing you need to know.
We tried trapping him and he
no,
just
babies are not
eventually
going to be
just
feral.
came
And
inside.
yes,
I'm still
babies
shocked
can
that
be
he did
adopted.
that.
Sometimes people are scared that if the
I'm
mom's
shocked
feral,
that she
means
walked
the
into my
baby's
neighbor's
gonna be
house.
But feral
But my
babies
neighbor's not the
are
mean
really
trap lady.
biological
She's the nice food lady. I'm the mean trap lady.
It's all about the individual experiences of the kitten. Did you know that
That one looks
all
like a
kittens
grandpa.
are born feral? It's true. These babies will hiss at anything.
Oh, they don't know anything
They
until
hiss
mom
at
teaches them.
Andrew's toothpaste.
The nice bougie food lady. Exactly.
Or like the smell of my new hand soap. So, I just used a new hand soap. Calais can smell the hand soap. She doesn't recognize that smell. So
If I was a street cat, I might choose based on my tummy also. Yeah, I mean, it's nice when they have options. I appreciate that we have so many helpers in the neighborhood, but there's only so many helpers because there's so many goddamn cats. Oh, Botrix is awake now. Good morning, Botrix.
Mama cat is feral.
It's nice to see you.
Not handled by humans at a young age. But these babies have been handled by me since the second their stinky little butts walked in this place. These babies are gonna love humans. So all that you need to do to make sure your babies are social is handle them. Multiple times.
Scariest part is just gonna be the first 2 weeks where they don't have their eyes and ears open and they're just
Love on them.
helpless little
Let them know that
lumps.
Humans are awesome. We're safe. You know, they want to be friends with us. As the kittens get older, and
Then it'll
more
be
independent
chaos.
from Mama, that's when we're going to really fast track them for socialization and adoption. Which leads me to the 10th and final thing you need to know, and that is how to plan your timeline properly. I really don't want you to hold on to a feral mama for any longer than you need to, for a couple reasons. One, that mama does not want to be indoors.
They
She's
meant
counting the
baby
days
timeline.
she can be returned to the place that she's comfortable.
We won't be doing that. She's too sweet to go back out on the streets. She has love in her. I'm gonna grab that one and watch it later. I'm gonna grab that one and watch it later too. I'll save the super gross stuff for my own timeline. I have homework tonight. Alright, I suck, but we're gonna end a little bit early tonight. I wanna keep her from feeling too alone in there. I guess she likes me now, which is good. But I think she's a little bit confused by a different space. So I'm gonna feed Ringo really quick and then spend probably about a good half hour in with her before I feed and walk everyone else. Just so she feels comfy and safe, okay. Maybe figure out a better, well, in the morning I'll figure out a better camera setup. Different perspectives. I think she's laying in front of the box right now, it looks like. I think I'm gonna take the lid off of it too. I might put the other box back in there. I was thinking about like if it was lower, if it was the tan box, then she might kick litter onto the kittens. That probably wouldn't be good. But that one might be a little too tall. I wonder if I have to jump big. She's carrying 3 little parasites inside of her. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Try for tonight just taking the top off of that and see if she has difficulty with it. And if so, then I'll put the tan box in. There we go. Say good night, mamas. From all your baby daddies. Good night, mamas. I'm so proud of her. I'm so sad though. She booped my hand. She gave me a love and then I moved her. okay, but dang it. Dang it. God dang it, Bobby. I don't think I upped count from earlier. Oopsies. 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 Alright, there you go. Thank you, BBs, for celebrating Voya's belated birthday with me. And happy birthday. Doing all the crazy cat lady things. Oh my god. I'm getting a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. But it's gonna be okay. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Stop yawning. Good god. I think I'm not breathing enough because I'm nervous. I can feel like the tension in my chest. You yawn when you're tired, but when you're tired, you lack oxygen to your brain. So if you don't breathe efficiently enough, then you yawn. I don't actually feel tired. Feel exhausted, but not tired. Happy birthday observed, Mr. Voya. You heard that? Happy birthday observed. He's laying in bed like, look at me. I'm the most fancy boy in the world. Mom forgot my birthday, but I still got a party. Haha. 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 I could find 10 better people for the jobs that are in the medical industry. But outside of that, I think I'm pretty well prepared at this point. It's just going to be understanding the visual cues from here of, like, what the order of operations of expelling them is. Birthing them. There we go. That's a nicer way of saying it. Expelling, as if the kittens are just going to shoot across the tent. Pew, pew, pew. If only labor was that easy. Good lord. Good lord. Turn off her go cam. Thank you, Bubs, for a wonderful night, and I appreciate the high compliment too. This is new territory. Very, very different. I knew I'd have to do it at some point in my life, so here we are. Just prepares us for the next time. If labor was that easy, it'd probably be an Olympic sport. Everyone timing their ovulation calendars to specifically 9 months before the Olympics. And then a bunch of pregnant ladies lining up and just coming down the field and That's hilarious to think about. That's a visual to imagine. Oh my god. They make like a spittoon sound. Ding. I need to stop. That's gross. That's funny as fuck, but that's gross as shit. Oh my god. Wow. Hope you get some good sleep tonight too. Thank you, thank you. And everyone else will rest good. I'll eventually pass out for a couple hours at some point. I'm trying to train myself to not sleep more than an hour and a half at a time, and so far it's working, but I think my anxiety is helping me wake up. But that's a good thing. This is a healthy level of anxiety, if such a thing were to exist. And I do wake up when she meows, so my mommy brain is kicking on. Think how women can hear a baby crying from wherever far away and can't ignore it. My mommy brain is kicking in. Hopefully hers does too. I really hope she doesn't reject the kittens. That worries me the most, but that's pretty unlikely. That'll be okay. Thank you all for a wonderful night. Thank you again for celebrating Voya's birthday with me. Our 7-ish-year-old mans. And thank you, Bubs, for helping me set up for the tiny one in there. The little mama. The little mama. I like a sneeze or a yawn, or I guess a yawn. Something was trying to happen. I didn't know what it was gonna be. Like, save your words, girl. Thank you all for a wonderful night. Thank you for your chats. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your company. And thank you for being yous. Thank you for your time more than anything. Your time is very valuable. Please do not ever forget that. You do not get more of it. You only get so much to do whatever the fuck you want with. And the fact that you guys choose to spend it here, I am heckin' honored. You can make more money. You can make more friends. You can make more scissors. You can make more little party hats. I'm sad Boy was in a mood for this birthday. With 7 in dog years, roughly cat year. He's in his 40s. That's why he's cranky. He's approaching the midlife crisis. That's all it is. You can make more kitty party hats, but you cannot make more time. So thank you for yours. If you bubs want to keep up with me offline, let's see if Patrick wants to be fully awake. Jump into the Discord. Yes. There we got the fun stuff. The socials. Some more fun stuff. No, not Fans Lou. Bloop. I need these nails shorter, like ASAP, especially with babies coming. Oh my god, I might just end up cutting them off myself. I'm scheduled for next week, but I'll have to, depends when we have shittens. We shall see. We shall see. The schedule for roughly-ish when I will see you Bebs next, it is probably correct for tomorrow, but the rest of next week I need to edit a little bit. I have to look at my own calendar first. I do. And, most importantly, thank you all for being a part of the Stream the Dreams project. I'm very proud to have you all in my corner with this one, and hyped for babies! Hyped for babies! As soon as everyone's up on the rescue site, I'll share her adoption info and tell your friends. I want to keep these kids in Club Cult. Thank you very much. And you get a cat, and you get a cat, and you get a cat, and you get a cat. I'm like the Oprah of cats. That's the goal, right? Thank you all for a wonderful night. Get some good eeps, get some good sleeps, get some good yummies in you, and have a beautiful rest of your weekend. I hear it's a holiday weekend. That's exciting. So don't party too hard. Get some good rest, and I shall catch you Bebs for the next one. Good nighty night.